Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? Hey, what's
The
up?
excitement just, oh my God. I
It's
cannot.
season three. It's season three of the Ooh Ladies First Panel. Yes. Hello, my girls. How are we?
I was sending y'all a message.
Doing good, doing great.
This is feeling like home. It's feeling like home. I'm
It
ready.
feels like
Yeah.
we're supposed to be here because we're supposed to be
Okay.
here. That's what's supposed to happen.
Okay. Listen. First of all, thank you so much, Sexy Ed, for the super chat. Sending love from Compton, California. Hey, from Compton, California. How you doing out there? Okay. Listen, we love the
In
weather.
California.
Okay, listen, y'all. Ah, Jesus. Listen, StreamYard, she'll be back. With that being said, we're switching things around. Okay, there she is. She's right there. All right. So, as you guys know, we normally do our shows with the TV shows last, but now we're going to go ahead and start off with the TV show. So, without any further ado, yes. Okay, listen, y'all like our new graphics. Listen, we told y'all it was a new season and we meant it. Okay. So we're going to start off. Let's start off with Queens. Okay. And listen, we do these things high level. Okay. So we had to talk. We had to, y'all heard that?
I was like, it's like
Yeah.
What is that? I'm
it
sorry.
wasn't ours.
You remind me
Like
of that.
it was an R rolling.
Right. Like, what was that?
It
I think she had
sound.
plugged in her mic thing.
Okay, listen,
Uh,
we're just gonna jump back into it. At least Jamie's here. Okay. So basically, we thought on Queen, there it was again. If y'all can
Jamie
hear
was
me
speaking
clearly,
Spanish.
are we good? Can y'all hear me though? Are we good sound
I
wise?
can
Hmm.
hear you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, gremlin sounds weird. Oh my god, the devil, stop it. Listen, lyric, where's the sage? So yes, queens. Okay, listen, I'm gonna just go ahead and break it on down, and then by the time Jamie get back in here, we can all give our commentary. Okay, so first of all, I want to start off with Valaria. This episode, we see Valaria after she found out that that lady was not her mama and she was just a scary scamming like bee. Okay. And we thought that she had shot Brianna, but no, it wasn't her. It was Jill's crazy ex husband. Okay. But either way, she was in the studio working on music that I feel like Eve wrote based on the cadence of the song that they were playing when she was in the studio rapping all hard and shit, like like she was feeling her J-Lo shit, you know what I'm saying? She was really into it. And I felt like it was a Eve cadence. So I was like, I bet Eve wrote that for her to rap. But either way, she ended up marrying the producer. Like she met him and then they went to a diner and then they went and got married. And I was just like, Valaria, honey, you don't know him and he don't know you. And then she struggled throughout the episode with letting him know she doesn't have any family. Ultimately, at the end, she ended up taking him to her mom's grave. And that's when we realized that Brianna really wasn't dead. But y'all go ahead and give me, what y'all thoughts on what's going on with Valeria. Why is that?
The hopeless romantic in me. I was excited about her marrying this stranger. I really was. I was excited that they talked the whole night, that they ended up at the diner. It was given Waffle House. And when they was at Waffle House, he was like, I know a place. I was like, they about to get married. And like you said, we find out that they were actually at her mama's grave. I called it in the beginning. I was like, nah, she's not dead. No, that's her mom's grave. But then they really did a good job tricking me. They really did. I'm not really skeptical of the producer dude yet, unless it was something I overlooked.
I just hope. I'm like, who booked him for the show? Like, did she book him for the show to do her songs? Because if he's like a random producer who could be a stalker, that's kind of weird. But it was a cool romantic vibe. But I mean, they could always be a killer. And the only reason I felt like Brianna wasn't dead was because I'm like, why was Larry the only one putting flowers down? I feel like if it was like, what the kids at? Like, why didn't all the women put flowers down? So that part, it was tricky, but I'm like, I don't think that's Bree grave site, because it's like Valeria seems the most upset or whatever. But I was like, I think the marriage might last if you're not a killer.
Not if you're not a killer. Some told me the same thing, DC. I was like, they gotta be a delirious mama's like grave or something, because Eve is the only rapper on the show. I refuse to believe that y'all done killed my girl off and she just went to go have a baby. Like, that's just disrespectful. So I kind of figured that and was definitely hoping that she was still alive. I didn't understand what's going on with Valeria. I'm not surprised about her getting married so soon, because y'all know Valeria high key has been in search of love. So she ain't getting it from her mom. So the fact that she found somebody that was on the same page as her, I think she missed out on so much in her life with having a child and truly falling in love with somebody, that I think she was at a place where it was like, you know what the hell? Might as well, you know what I'm saying? Especially at the age that she's at, you just never know how it may work out. So let me just try this. Since he knows the place, then I'm just gonna go along for the ride. So that's what ended up happening, and it may actually end up being a good thing for her. I don't think he's crazy, but he definitely comes off as a man that of little words, basically.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. I was worried at first, but then at the end, when they went to the grave and she was finally honest about what happened with her mom and everything, and then he grabbed her hand and like let her know it was okay and that whoever she is, he's accepting of her. Like, that made me feel like, okay, girl, this might have been a great impulsive decision. Sometimes we make really great impulsive decisions. I'm thinking more of my sofa, but still, like, great impulse buy. Like, he's sexy, and you know, he felt like someone. He felt like someone who will welcome her into their family, so then she can have, you know, a part of his family as well if it all goes well, because you know they're gonna have an episode where she got to go and meet his people, and we're gonna have to see how sedity or bougie or crazy or whatever they are and how she fits into that dynamic. But moving on from her, Lil Muffin was everything this episode. Lil Muffin is in law school, y'all, and killing it. Okay. I was like, Little Muffin, come through with the legalese. Okay. I was really here for it. But then they came with the appropriation. Okay. The little young clear girl. Okay, who wanted to
good hair.
Girl, Becky with the good hair.
She was 6'9".
She was doing a lot. She was doing a lot, and she was trying to get clout off of Little Muffin. Little Muffin kept saying, I'm retired, honey. Okay, I've done this. And she wouldn't leave Little Muffin alone. So eventually Little Muffin had to let her know. Okay, and then she used some of the legal terminology in the rap, and it had a lot of really like sweet, crazy intensity, which we all really like. You know, shout out to Nicki Minaj for creating that as a you know, a form of expression in rap, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I was feeling Little Muffin. What did y'all think?
I like her on the show. I think she's cool. I like how she, well, I think she seems different. I like that they're showing someone who was one way, went through some drug stuff, whatever, got better. Now she know my end all be all should not be rap. I need something else to make myself happy. And how she was dedicated. It's like, no, I gotta study. I gotta study. And only until she feel like, okay, she on some bullshit, let me respond, but still let me study. So I like how they're showing that she's not just one type of person, and how she kind of fits in as little sister to the queen. So I think that
it's giving Megan the longevity. Stallion.
I think I like that. I like that it makes it seem like the story won't get boring, because something can happen between them watching her. She's gonna make more mistakes, and they will too. So I like it can be the dynamic of new school and old school.
Yeah, me too.
And that's super hard to be in law school, and like, this ain't no regular college. This law school that you're in, on top of trying to be an artist. At least she took a break, but it seems like she's about to, you know, go back out there and get at it. I think that's dope. I think that's awesome. It was interesting to see that she's going to be out here fighting for the people. I guess she wants to be a DA. I kind of was expecting her to say like entertainment attorney, so that she'll be able to really understand the contracts, and she's so, you know, intertwined with that industry already. So that may actually end up helping her herself at a later time. As far as the white girl appropriating, definitely was trash, but I'm not even gonna lie, and I'm not saying this person is trash at all, but I will say that I feel like they should have booked Mariah Lynn for that role.
At
Mm.
first, I thought it was
She would have
her.
been
And now I'm like, oh,
perfect.
that ain't
Stop
her.
playing with our
Yeah, I thought it was
girl.
her.
Okay.
Yeah,
She
I'm
would
like,
have
why
been
y'all ain't
perfect.
just called? Y'all know Mariah Lynn be out here rapping it. Even if it would have been, I guess bogus, she probably would have wrote the raps better than that, and she just would have fit. Like, why y'all ain't just gonna reach out to Mariah Lynn and
Next
got her to
time,
play
call
that
Mariah
particular
Lynn.
role?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay.
I
Lil
got to
Muffin
shout out.
Esquire.
I got to shout out whoever is in charge of the hair and I'm gonna say costume overall because they did the slightest change to Lil Muffin. Did y'all notice before when she was a rapper, she had that like Remy textured wig, colorful wig. But this
Yeah.
episode, she had a little yacky to it, little kinky, little
Mm.
something more natural that made her feel down to earth. And I was like, damn, down to the details. It was
Love
cute
it.
with the little, and the makeup was simple too. She just had her little wing
Mhm.
eyeliner and the eyelashes, and you could completely see like the change. I was like, oh, okay.
It was definitely giving when Nikki showed up at I think it might have been an MTV Awards. I can't remember which one it was,
Yeah.
but she had on the black dress and she had the just the black wrap and it was like
Yes.
long and we was all like, why have you been like not doing this the entire time?
And I
Like
want her to go back. It's something
we
about
do.
I
that
hope.
jet black straight hair on Nikki that just
Mhm.
when she come back out, she needs to have a self-titled album and she needs to give us like raw Nikki, like
Bare.
black.
Oh,
And
Yes,
she's
Nika.
beautiful.
yes.
She's so beautiful, but I think she overdoes it with the filters and the makeup and the wigs. And it's like we know you're naturally beautiful. We would appreciate you kind of like living in that.
Stepping in that,
She's
yep.
a character.
Yeah,
I think
as an adult.
she's always in character. I don't think we've seen the real Nikki yet. I don't think
Me
she may
either.
not feel. I don't think she feels comfortable enough to be her raw self. I think she feels like she has to be this character of herself, and that's what we see most of all. And those little glimmers of the black hair, kind of Nikki, who we want to see is her real her, but she don't want to be that because she think we don't like it. We will love it.
Did y'all watch that documentary a couple years ago on MTV?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like she was herself there.
There is
Not-
some interviews after that breakup with Safari. I felt like we started to see Nikki, and I thought we were gonna get that until she got with Meek Mill, then it started to go back to where it was.
I think it's a battle. I think it's a constant battle of fighting between being who you feel like you are and being who everybody wants you to be because you have to always be Nicki Minaj and show up, you
Mhm.
know? So I think it's easier said than done, you know? But referencing rappers, okay, from New York, Remy Ma, okay, big beef, big beef. But Remy, oh my God, I was actually happy to see her. First of all, Remy looks great. Money and good health have done Remy like wonders. She's aging backwards. It's crazy how we see her from when she was in like her 20s and she looked like she was 40 and now she's like 40 and she looked like she in her 20s. It's crazy, okay? But her and Brandy came together. Her name is Zadie. Zadie and Brandy with Naomi used to be rival rappers back in the day, you know, real spit like that. And, you know, they went off and did their respective things. And Zadie is working at the grocery store and, you know, scratching and surviving good times with a terrible, like, you know, curly, wet, wavy bob, you know. And she doesn't want to really get back into music because apparently she was assaulted by an executive and he kind of blackballed her thereafter. But of course, Naomi convinces her to get in the studio and they did this song. And y'all, I have been obsessed with the song ever since it came out, like ever since I heard it. Like the hook, because I don't give a damn what they say, because I see you for who you are, taking your place on the throne. I want you to see it because I believe it. All the things we've been through. It's something, but
Yeah,
it's
when
fire.
I heard it, I was like, this is the real song. When I heard it, I was like, oh, this is the real song. Like, this is Brandy and Remy Ma. This ain't whatever her name is on the show. And
Yes.
yeah. But
They was calling
like
her
you
Lady
said,
Z.
yes, when it came to seeing Remy, when she came out that grocery store, like I was like, where is Remy? I was like, oh, this is Remy. I was like, that I could only tell once the camera like really panned on her and I looked at her face and I was like, dang. Because you know, the wig had her looking different, the uniform had her looking different as well. And like you said, money and health. Now, whenever Brandy was in that booth singing and the camera was panning around her in circles, it reminded me of Moesha.
We looked at the camera at one point.
Yes. You saw when she looked at the camera?
Yes, I saw it.
I got so hyped. I was like, that's Moesha. But yeah,
yes.
No, it was cute.
I like the storyline, but I wasn't impressed with her acting skills. Her rapping, yes, with Brandy, yes, but I was like, I just want her to. It felt like Remy. It didn't feel like the character. Like Brandy in the show is the character. I didn't feel Remy was Lady so and so. I thought that was Remy rapping and talking about. I do love the point of her story because I think a lot of women don't come forth and say, like, you know, I was blackballed for this reason. That man was an asshole. So I like the premise, but I feel like I want her to get better acting to less be her and be more encompass the actual character. It just felt like Remy to me, but it wasn't bad. But I'm like, that's Remy.
Yeah.
It was good to see Remy. Like Jaylee mentioned, the storyline around it. I like that. It made me think about the industry and how many women are not as successful because of situations like that, but we're led to believe something completely different. So I feel like some of the stories that they give, there's truth to some of it. I really feel like there is a lot of truth to what they showing us. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to be. I like the rapping. I like Remy rapping. I'm wondering when I was hearing Brandon wanting to give her this redemption moment, I was wondering if Remy was going to take that on with her own career, because we haven't seen her actually drop something. It's usually like singles or something that she do with Fat Joe. But I feel like she probably think the industry doesn't really believe in her or whatever. So I'm just wondering what's going to come from this role that she has with the show. Is she going to go forward in her own career in real life?
I hope she does. And I also hope that what they're doing gets mimicked in real life at some point, because they decided to form their own record label and they signed her to the record label so that they can support her in being the type of artist that she wants to be. Because that's the issue, is that they sign you and then they try to change you into what they want you to be versus allowing you to be an artist. And we all know that as soon as everybody starts switching up their style, they start going downhill. You know, it's always them first two albums when they was really in the mud that everybody always go back to with certain artists, you know. But with Remy, I really agree. I hope that she takes this. When I heard the song, I was like, this is good. Like her with Brandy was like I almost felt like Brandy and them wanted to give her this opportunity in real life, like this opportunity to have a resurgence in the music, because she's been chilling, like really, really chilling and doing everything but, you know, rapping. And I feel like this is definitely what she needs to be doing, because she's still really sick. She's still really sick with it. Like I was into that song, man. But yeah, y'all, Jill. Oh my God. Y'all, first of all, I want to say it kind of just gives me a little bit of joy thinking about the fact that Naturi at this moment is the most famous of the 3LW girls. Even though we like everybody, we cool with everybody now. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still kind of like, I'm enjoying the fact that Naturi is like shining and acting. And her, you know, she was acting on the show. Like she was actually, you know, filming a show while she's on Queens now. But she's having a really hard time dealing with the fact that her ex-husband shot Bree. And it's a lot of guilt. So she's having nightmares, and child, she went looking for that white girl. And she had it, but then she threw it out the window. But then she got pulled over by the police, and then she got arrested. And then everybody had to come through and get her. And it's like, well, now we got to try to fix it, Jesus. And I hope they fix that bang that they had her wearing, because that was bad. But
I almost did drugs bang.
Yeah.
Because they had her walking out like she was on drugs. I was like, damn, y'all got her walking out in shambles.
Girl, and then the bang had the hair hanging down on the sides. And I was like, make it stop. Why are y'all doing this to us? Like, why you doing this to me? Like, I felt hurt. But either way, y'all, it's giving good storyline and it's giving a lot of things happening, but the storyline is making sense versus when we watch shows and it feels like so much shit is going on, but none of it is tying up. This is actually like moving forward. So I'm happy with what they're doing over there on ABC with Queens.
I
Or
got
is
a
it
question
NBC?
for y'all. Were
Ciao.
y'all nervous
Sorry.
that they were gonna try to write Remy into Brianna's
Yep.
spot?
Yep.
I was like,
I didn't
this is
think
gonna
they
be so
were.
tacky if they do that.
I
I
didn't
almost
think
thought
they
they
were
were.
either.
Because
I felt
I
like
knew
they
that
added her. They wanted another. I felt they wanted another real rapper who was a rapper in real life, just to have that person here. Because even though
so
Brandy
Brandy
rapped
could
a little
sing.
bit before, right? Because Brandy rapped a little bit on, I think
Yeah.
maybe their B7
Beat
album.
Rocker. She's
But
Beat
I do
Rocker.
feel like they wanted to be sure with Eve being on, leave right now. They wanted somebody else just in that place, but I didn't think it was like to replace the Bree. I felt like they was gonna put Brie like in rehab for a while, like to heal from being shot. So I'm surprised they put her like on a beat somewhere. But I mean, she went down with the kids. The husband is dead. She got shot. So let her chill out. And then season 2 towards the end, she gonna come back.
And then I had another random thought. Y'all tell me if it was just me. Whenever they showed Eve was in Costa Rica, I thought she was dead. You know how everybody be like, "Oh,
What?
Tupac ain't really dead. He just in Costa Rica or whatever." I
Like
thought
she
she
faked
was
her
in
death?
heaven
Yeah, like they killed
until
her
I saw the
off.
kid. Yes,
Yeah,
until I saw the kid run up. Then I was like, okay, she ain't transitioned.
What
She here.
I thought they
Yeah.
was gonna do the rapper guy who was like, come down to the beach. I thought he was gonna pop up because he said bring your kids. I'm like, oh, is she there on the beach with him with the
Nah,
kids?
he talked too
But I
much.
was like, he do talk too lot.
I figured she was live. Like when I looked at it first, the screen looked a little fuzzy. I said, "Girls, we in heaven." When the child ran up, I said, "You know what? I think she went back to that place her husband told her to take the kids back to." So
Mhm.
she is alive.
Yeah.
So
Thank you, God.
yay.
All right, well, that's our little recap of what happened on Queens, y'all. Let's move on to our next show, and that's Sisters. My girls hold me down, and no one mess around. My love life is a mess. We going in out night, 'cause I'm ready for love. Y'all know we like the theme song, whatever. Anyway, so Sisters, okay, first of all, I love the new thumbnail. Okay, thank you, Tyler Perry, for always changing up the theme and giving us colors. We love it. This is wonderful. This is when I get mad at Tyler, because Tyler, why are you always playing our intelligence? Okay, so we left last season 2 weeks ago. Also, thank you for coming back so quickly. We also appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, 2 weeks ago, we thought Gary and Robin were doing some freak nasty stuff with Andy. Andy's in the bed with Robin. She wakes up. She's like, oh my God, I got to go to work. And Robin's like, wait, you can't go because we want to do it again. And we're like, who the is we? We thinking one of them girls going to come out. Oh no, it's Gary coming out in a tight ass shirt talking about, yeah, I want to do it again. And we were like, what the fuck is going on? Come back this episode. Tyler Perry said it was a dream. I said, not
But I
Christopher
liked
Williams.
it. I liked the dream part because
I'm glad
I was
not on
I was shocked.
not on no season in cliffhanger. That was just like really.
But when that happened, like I was like, oh, at the end. And when she woke up, I'm like, okay, cool. But I feel like that was his way of showing Andy is gonna be torn between these two men because she's dreaming about Gary coming here and wanting her to be with both of them. So I didn't want it to be real because I'm like,
no, I didn't want it to be real.
I'm like, no. So I was
just
happy
tired
and
of him
shocked
playing with us.
when she woke up. I'm like, oh, that ain't Tyler writing. That's somebody else is writing the show. That's not Tyler.
It does feel like different writing. They also had extras this episode. I don't know if y'all noticed. They actually had other people in the bank.
I know another worker.
They had another worker, and they had other people like customers. Like there was another teller, a person in front of them, then a person that Sabrina turned around to go help because Maurice was screaming and hollering at her. And I was just like, child, Maurice, you gonna get tired of screaming at your boss at this damn job.
You're fired.
What is going on with him and Q? Because they keep trying to make fetch happen, and I want them to stop. Like Q called Maurice from prison, and I was like, what is this for? What is this for? Is Maurice gonna fall in love with Q in prison? Is he gonna be on Love After Lockup?
That's what it sounds like. I hope not though, because I do not like you. Not at all.
I don't
So
mind Q, but I don't like Q for Maurice. If he wasn't was he on heroin or meth? If he
Meh.
wasn't a meth
Man,
head, bank robber, robbing Calvin, maybe.
right. At
But
gunpoint.
it's like he's done so much bad. It feels dumb to try to make him be the old woe was me. Oh yeah.
right.
If he didn't rob the bank, had he not robbed the bank and he just stole some checks from
I
Calvin's,
just don't.
room, okay, he's a thief. Stop being a thief. But I'm like,
Mm-mm.
he do heroin or meth, I don't know what to. And he tried to rob the bank at gunpoint. Like, I can't date you, bro.
By
But I
fucking the
still,
teller.
yes.
And it's the fact that he stole from his love interest. Like, do you know
Right.
if Maurice was a woman, we would be lighting his dumb ass up on this
Like, you
show.
so
Especially
stupid.
for
For
pulling a gun after sex.
yeah, you got a gun pulled on you. Okay, like let me help you. Let me raise you to be right by me. What? Nah. Mm-mm. I hope they do something
No.
different with that.
We don't like when y'all do it to black women, and we don't like when y'all do it to gay men. We are not with this struggle love shit in 2022.
But I can see them being together in like season 18, a fucking
Not
wedding with
18.
it's 1,000 seasons.
Dude,
I
you know,
just
season 18 will be here within the next 3
right in the
years.
next
I'm
right.
That's how
about to
fast
3
they
years.
come.
I
That's
was
how
about to say
fast they
3
come.
years. Jamie, you got anything to say about Maurice and Q?
I want to talk about Andy and that whole dream. I just want to say that I'm so glad it was a dream. I cannot stand Gary. It's nothing he can ever do to redeem himself. And I wouldn't mind if they go ahead and write him off. Stop trying to keep him hanging on the show. Okay. Shout out to Tyler though, because Tyler makes sure his people stay employed. However,
Mm-hmm.
write him off, maybe into his own story. Like just write him off. I'm tired of the connection between him
Put him
and
on
Gary.
another show. Make him
Yeah,
another
there we
character and
go.
put the actor on
Come
another
on,
show.
bruh.
But
Or something.
kill this off, okay?
Yeah.
We're tired of Gary. And then Gary gonna show up with a car, a Bentley, talking about take it, Andy. I'm gonna try my hardest to get you back. Mind you, okay, Robin got jets and want to take her to London, okay, on some
Right.
business. Okay, he the boss. But besides that, y'all, one of the best parts of this damn episode was them finally drawing the pieces together with Danny and Preston. I was like, thank y'all for cluing us in finally and putting it all together. Because I
I
felt
still
like I
don't
didn't know.
understand.
Okay, so I'm gonna break it down for y'all. So Danny basically had a full-on Oprah Winfrey monologue moment, okay, with her and Preston, and she finally explained to him that her issue with him is that he does not respect her boundaries, coming to her place all the time without calling first, okay, which a lot of us don't like that shit. Then having her landlord let him in more than once after she told him not to. Then he got mad at her when she didn't want him to live in her place. Then the day after she allowed for him to move into her place, he invited his sister over. Mind you, his brothers had just threatened to kill her at her job like the day before. And he didn't even give her 24 hours before he had his sister sitting at her kitchen table. And at the end of the day, y'all are not in a relationship. So whether she was having sex with that stripper or not, like, you don't have a right to be upset because y'all are not in a committed relationship. Y'all are, you know, going steady. Y'all just be
This is
fucking around.
this is
I'm
the
glad
weird
you
part with Danny
explained.
and this is the weird part I don't get about Danny and Preston. Like, Danny will say, "Go away." He'll go away, and then she'll then say, "Why you go away? I've been called." Like, it aggravated me that
That's
because I don't
exactly
have an
what I was
issue with her
thinking.
issues. I have an issue with y'all have those discussions when it happened. Because when he did something, you would say, "I don't like this" or whatever, whatever. So now, because you think he fucking his cousin, that's not his cousin, because you feel that way, now you're gonna unpack on him all the stuff that y'all have already discussed. Because like you went off on him about the sister coming over. You went all these things have been discussed. You're mad
Mhm.
because you couldn't reach him and you think he fucking his cousin. And I'm like, I don't like that
Mhm.
Danny sabotages her and Preston based on her not knowing what she wants. Like even the whole kind of the handcuff slave. I'm like, y'all fully discussed that. So why bring it up again? Like you don't like him as a white man, that's fine. But I'm like, I don't like when anybody rehashes shit that I thought we already fixed because you're not mad at me for something new.
And,
That's the part that I don't get.
logically, that makes sense. But like Bondy said, it wasn't until this episode that I realized all those times that he did stuff and she would be upset. I was like, oh, we were supposed to be mad for her. Because I felt like watching the show, it was always something like, I don't know. I never felt,
we didn't know who we was supposed to be. We didn't know how we was supposed to feel because it wasn't being written for us to understand her perspective completely.
Yes, it wasn't being written that way. So logically, what you're saying makes sense. But I think they gave her that monologue because we needed that moment to understand the status of their relationship. Because it wasn't until today I was like, oh, that makes sense.
But see, with that poor writing, I looked at it as Danny being a poor communicator. And then she piled all this on him. It's like, how you gonna snap off on this man? But you the one who pretty much allowed, like you set up the play for how he communicates with you, how he reacts with you, because you never checked him how you should have a long time ago. So I just felt like, I just didn't like that she piled all that on at one moment when a lot of it is your fault as well because of the way you did not choose to communicate so that he could understand. I feel like there were some things that, that stood out where she was able to like check him about the handcuffs or whatever. But overall, I feel like he did a lot of stuff because you allowed it to slide. And then now you want to go off on him about your boundaries. But were your boundaries ever really clear to begin with? That's what I was thinking. That's what I looked at the poor writing. But I think y'all had a point about that writing. I just looked at it like, she terrible.
And remember when she kept calling him and he was on the track and he said, I'm gonna come over later. So like, how you mad if he came over? He can't call, he lost his phone. But you've been calling him all day. So it's like, I'm like, do you want to see him or no?
It's another level of, remember when Danny first started talking to him, it was like she wanted him, but she didn't want him, but she wanted him, but didn't know if she wanted. That's what it was giving me again. Yeah. It was a mature way of doing the same damn thing. Yeah. I want you, but I don't really want you, but I want you, and it's like, okay, Danny maturely still don't know what the hell she wants. That's what I got from last night.
I agree. I still don't think she know what she wants, but I just like the fact that they made it clear what the issue was. Because I felt like I didn't understand what she exactly was upset about with him and why now you don't want to be bothered with him. But as time has gone on and I've looked at Danny's personality, like he tried to do what lesbians do. He tried to U-Haul with her and they had only been talking for a little while, So when you kind of, and I feel like she was trying to see if she would like those things. So she would just like allow for it to happen and then would decide that I don't really like this. And then she would have to try to figure out a way to say it, but she wouldn't know how. So then we'd have all of these times where we'd be like, what the fuck is the problem? And it's because I think what they were trying to do, but because the writing was struggling in this area, was allowing for a character to be authentic enough to not know how to communicate. So it's not going to come off obvious to the audience because the person doesn't know how to communicate. But in the writing, you're supposed to show us what is actually happening as the audience while simultaneously showing us that the character is bad at communicating. But Tyler sometimes doesn't know how to do both of those things at once. But I just want to say that the monologue itself flowed well. There were no repetitive moments where we're repeating the same shit over and over and over again. There was more dialogue in the scene. Like it overall to me felt different. And I feel like if there's different writing that will allow for better acting, because I feel like we've seen some of these girls on other things and they act well. Like Ebony Obsidian is a really great actress. I've seen her on other things. She's a great actress. I don't think she is always given the opportunity to showcase that because Tyler's writing, no disrespect, can be tad limited as it pertains to how to showcase multi-dimensional versions of women through dialogue. That's that. But yeah, we love you, Tyler. We appreciate you. Don't be mad. Moving on from there.
If you money to be mad.
Listen. But you know how they be. They be.
I just want you to know. We got to speak on Hayden being dead.
No, I wasn't done. I wasn't done. I was about to talk about Fatima and the blood being on her pretty white dress from having
I'm like, how
Hayden
she
murdered
missed
in the
that?
parking lot. And then
I'm
she
happy you
folded.
did.
I know it's white. How could you not see that out the corner of your eye? I
said
would have
when
known
she
that shit
walked in,
immediately on some white.
when she walked in at the flower at the lobby, I'm looking like, I'm like, that's blood. I'm like, it's gonna be. I'm like, it's gonna be blood on her dress. She gonna get arrested. That's the evidence. I was like, shit. But I'm like, maybe she'll wash the dress first.
She
But I was
called
like,
it, so she gonna get rid of that blood stain. She know how to get blood stains out of clothes. You could tell.
You can't tell.
I'm glad Hayden dead though. I was tired of him.
Is he dead or fake dead though?
I think he real dead, but I'm worried about this cop. I'm worried about this cop that ran up on Karen. And Karen, why you think you supposed to be in that man in his new old lady house?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
When she said, I said, why you want to come in? Karen, the character Karen, the Karen is a Karen. I feel like she always wants her way. And her saying, I don't want this baby. I'm like, bitch, you 2 days pregnant. Like, just calm down. You can't be like, and like he say, like, why you worry, Karen? Give him my number, Karen. I think Karen likes to be involved. Karen is gonna be the kind of one who wants to always say, I'm pregnant with your baby, so I should always be included in whatever you have going on. And I feel like Fatima gonna be like, bitch, no, we're not gonna have that. So I can't wait for that. Because I'm like, how did Pam know his address to the house he just bought? How did Pam know that? How Pam find out? And if Pam know and you don't know, why go? I would never go to a man's house who did not give me the address and I'm pregnant with baby and he's told me over and over he don't want me. I can't go. I'll send you a text. A cop came by looking for you. There you go. I don't like
that man back. She want control. She want that man back. She's not gonna get him back. And I hate that she's intruding on his situation.
I thought it was hilarious that he called Fatima as soon as she walked away.
Right. Because he want to save. I think Zach respects Fatima in a way that he couldn't respect Karen, because both Karen and Zach were different people together. They're now different people. Now they're apart. Karen, to me, has reverted back to being a needy ex-girlfriend who feels like you owe me because I stayed with you when you were down bad, and now you up, and you should want to just be with me because I stayed with you. And I'm like, and it's like, that's just not your cards. Like, that's not what was played for you. So it's weird that I don't feel bad for Karen because of how much she complained about Zach. He's gone now. He was a bad boyfriend. It's weird. It's like, you begging back for the bad boyfriend, girl. Oh, she's the bottom.
Let it go.
Because even if they got back together, like you said, he was with you based on the way he was with you. I feel was based on the dynamics of that relationship, and that's not going to change. He could be on the up, and everything could be great, and then he'll get back with you and still be how he was, because different people bring out different things. You haven't even gone to really work on your damn self. You've been over here going back and forth between whether you like Zach and Aaron. You haven't done any evolving on your end aside from getting pregnant. So he's going to be the same with you as he has been in the past. Fatima brings out something different.
Right, because Fatima sees him as an actual man. Karen sees him as a little boy with money. And that's why she felt the need to come over there and see what he was spending his money on, and feeling like she had to protect him, even though he was trying to make it seem like it wasn't that deep. So
trying to show and prove, like, see, I'm still looking out for you, even though I don't want to, even though
like parking down the street. I was like, girl, you don't get no cookies for parking down the street. If them people could follow you in a car, they could follow you on foot.
Right.
Crazy as hell. I don't even want to talk about this no more. She make me mad. Y'all, let's move on to Ready to Love. I don't even have anything to add to Ready to Love except for Phil and Shiloh. That's the only thing I want to talk about.
Wig. Tyler Perry looked like he was involved in this episode when I seen Sabrina in that blonde wig.
Ooh, yeah. A lot of people were talking about Sabrina in that blonde wig. I'm not going to do that lady like that and post no picture of it, but it did. It was given she pulled it out the back. It was given she had it in the back, from the stripper days. Yeah, and she wanted to give us a little something. Yeah, she absolutely pulled that out her retirement bag. Girl, there was some floss next to that wig, and you can't tell me no different. And I love me a good blonde wig, but girl, I be trying to give Storm. I'm not trying to give, yellow. It's trying to give
Yellow.
storm. It's not trying to give yellow, you know? But anyway, you know, because I get it, blind. Anyway, I got to get a new color too. Anyway, don't worry about it. So let's talk about feeling shallow, because that was the main thing. And we all had a disagreement about this. And it's so funny because I'm glad we talked about it then, because so much shit has happened since I forgot. I almost forgot. Okay. Main thing here, okay, was that Phil over there, okay, was being a fake good guy. Okay, he was being a fuck boy. He was being emotionally disingenuous with Shiloh, kind of holding her on the hook because he knew he had formed a strong connection with her at the beginning. But once he figured out that all them other girls, i.e., Sydney's little cute ass, was interested in him as well, then all of a sudden he was no longer as interested in Shiloh. But instead of being honest with her and saying that, he kind of, you know, kept going back to her. We all kind of feel like they had sex, which is why she was so upset about the way he treated her. But apparently they had a run-in off camera where they had a conversation about how he was feeling and how she was feeling. She told him that she chose him. He didn't really respond. Later on in a car, after they had been drinking, they get in an argument. They pull over. They were at some bar and they're in the alleyway outside the bar or something like that, having an argument. And she's walking away from him while they're arguing. And obviously being a woman that wants a man to chase her. Okay. And because he wasn't chasing her in real life, I feel like she thought this was the only way she was going to be able to feel better in the situation. So she gets out the car, she walks away. He felt like we're in a dangerous area of DC. I don't have time for this shit. So he picked her up and put her in the car and took her home. And he feels as if it was okay for him to do that because as a man, he needed to protect her. And he felt like he was putting her best interests at, you know, at the forefront. And she just has, you know, some lack of understanding of that. I personally feel like, even though I understand where he was coming from, I do not like when men do something that women find inappropriate or they find problematic and they express that. And then the man explains to them that I knew better. So you don't really have a right to feel how you feel because I knew better than you. And in that moment, I was protecting you. So it was okay for me to physically move you from where your feet were and put you in a damn car. I don't really like that. And it made me think about times before when Phil has had to come and super save a hoe. When Aisha got upset, Dante had Aisha, but here come Phil with his body. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's go talk. Let's go talk. He just feels like somebody that's always trying to posture like he's a good guy. But when it's not really sincere, you get yourself in situations where you make a woman feel uncomfortable and you trigger her. Now, mind you, she probably was feeling a way about the fact that he did not really want to choose her after they probably bumped nasties. But I still feel like people were arguing with me about if it was okay for him to pick her up. And I just felt like that was not okay. And I don't care how y'all slice it. But y'all go ahead.
I feel like he could have walked alongside her. He didn't necessarily have to pick her up. You know, I feel like if she felt like she didn't want to talk, because I understand how that can be. When I'm upset, don't touch me. I really want you to go the other way. Give me a second. I'm going to calm down and I'll be there. However, Shiloh was doing the absolute most. When you with somebody, and first of all, it's 4 or 5 in the morning. Girl, you're not tired. You that mad that you're not tired and just want to go ahead and go home. I've been with someone and they pissed me off and I would just not say anything else. Everything would be a head nod. I'm going to do what I need to do so I can make sure that I get to the house. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that was poor judgment on her part to kind of like walk off towards an alley when it's in the wee hours of the morning. It was giving me, I want you to chase me. I know the direction I'm going in is the wrong direction, but I want you to run after me because you haven't shown me that you're choosing me. So choose me in this moment by running behind me as I head to this alley in the dark. You know, I still feel like he could have walked with her, maybe try to calm her and try to talk if you just gonna be there, or just not say anything at all. Because sometimes when people are upset, some people want you to just be there. Don't say nothing. Just exist. Just be quiet. He could have said, Shiloh, I know you're upset. I'm not going to say nothing, but I'm going to walk with you in this moment. And I'm just going to be here with you. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't have to pick her up. But I also felt like she used this opportunity because she was upset to make it seem like you did something I didn't like, which was put your hands on me, and you don't know about my past. And I'm like, so you mean to tell me that you sat up here, got to know this man, you know him so much, and I guess he knows you so much that you're choosing him. He's willing to choose you, but he doesn't know that part of you. You're an intimacy coach. How you not in tune with this stuff? Like, I don't know. It wasn't adding up. And I felt like she was just trying to use this as a moment to kind of make him look bad and make him feel how she felt in the moment, because she didn't get the answer that she wanted. But granted, I'm not saying he should have touched her, because I don't think that he should have, because that's another thing. You got to look at that and how people are perceiving that type of stuff. He could have got the cops called on him. And if she was a vindictive woman, he would have a case for simply trying to help her. You know what I'm saying? So he got to take that type of stuff into consideration. You can't always be a helper all the time in your way and how you think it's fit. But Shiloh, dear, you did too much.
I think both of them handle things differently, but I don't think either of them are wrong. I feel like Shiloh tried to make it bigger after the fact. I feel like when she kept saying I wasn't in danger, I was in danger from him. I didn't feel like he was being whatever. So she kept explaining the way I didn't really care that he picked me up. My issue was I felt like he didn't give me the space I wanted, which is fine. She had the right to want that, but I feel like if you don't think he did anything wrong per se by touching you, why keep bringing it up? Because to me, that makes it look like you feel like you're saying that he's physically aggressive with you. And that paints a picture. And I think there was a way for her to say, you did not give me the space I wanted without making it about being physically harmful towards you as a woman. Because I'm like, if they were gay, it was two women, and a woman picked her up, would you have been upset? It's because it was a man. So I feel like she just wanted to win in some kind of way. And if I can make the other women feel like he did something to me that I didn't like, because everyone grabbed on to the he picked me up part, even though she kept saying that wasn't her issue. That was never her issue. Her issue was he didn't pick me. And when I left out, he didn't really follow me and fight for me. He kind of wanted to get rid of me, put me in a car, and then be done. Because at that point, it's 4 and 5 a.m. I feel like in no city should anyone be up at 5 a.m. drunk or intoxicated in the alley fussing with anybody, man, woman. It shouldn't happen. And I felt like both of them could have handled things differently, but I don't fully feel like his intent was never to disrespect her. And I think a lot goes into a person's intent. I don't think he intended to do anything besides we out the alley. Let's get out the alley. And I think trying to make it seem as if he was trying to harm her is what aggravates me, because that's what everybody picked up on based on her saying that one part, but then still saying, but I'm not mad about that. It aggravated me. And I like that he said, I'm not saying how you felt didn't matter. What I'm saying is the reason I did what I did. Because two things can be right. Your feelings matter, but I was not trying to hurt you. So okay, I don't have the right for you to be wrong.
Let me say this. Let me read this comment. Phil uses physical contact to avoid difficult conversations. When I said that, made me think about when he had done that in the past and how I feel like that's indicative of a pattern. So when they were having a conversation at the end and she had on her, fuck 'em girl outfit and her pretty bun and makeup, looking her age and all of that. Okay. She said to him, you did something that made me uncomfortable when you picked me up. Okay, that's what she said to him. He then in turn said, I understand all of that, but I still made the executive decision to do what I did. So to me, it made it seem like, okay, so you don't understand that you should not do that moving forward, because you think as a man, you were in a position to make an executive decision over this lady's body. And I understand that y'all may not take it that deep, but when you realize that this is a pattern of behavior with men, and specifically a pattern of behavior with Phil, not that you are trying to harm anybody, but that you do use your physical strength in a way to handle situations that you no longer want to handle verbally. He got tired of arguing with her, so he decided to move her on his own. I just think that's not okay. And I think there are a lot of people that think that's okay because he was protecting her. And I
think people have different opinions. I think where some people get why he did it. And some people feel like he
I
shouldn't
get
have
how
done it.
I get why he did it. I still think that that doesn't mean that that was appropriate and that's what he should do moving forward.
That's
I
yeah.
don't think
That's
he should have done that. But this is a stance I took. In my review, I've decided to talk about the thing that was most apparent to me. So he was wrong for physically picking her up, right? My thing is she tried to weaponize this history of trauma, and in so many ways she tried to microaggressively make him into some sort of physical threat to the other women. And to me, I felt like that was more dangerous than him picking her up and putting her in a car when people were around. And to Jamie's point, when Jamie said it was almost as if she wanted him to chase her, I also wanted to know, why didn't you go walking towards the light? Why didn't you go walking down the block? Why didn't you simply get in the car with Courtney, who was there from what I've been hearing, and ride
Yeah,
off if
people
you
were
didn't
saying
want to
that in the
talk to the
comments.
man? So I'm like, it was more upsetting to me that you couldn't communicate, oh, well, he's going to choose Sydney over me, so let me self-eliminate. You had to find a way to make him seem like a physical harm to the other people. So to me, I think that was more dangerous, that she could manipulate the optics than him actually picking her up. Yes, he was wrong for that, but I don't think she made it clear that he wasn't physically trying to hurt her. I think it would have been different if they were arguing and he picked her up. But the simple fact that you walked down the alley, throwing a hissy fit, I'm like, for what? Now, my other thing is Phil has to be held responsible, because I also said he's a fuckboy who thinks he's a good guy. So he has to be held responsible for not being transparent first. Second of all, in any situation is one of two things you control, and it's always going to be yourself. So if you knew from the retreat that this man wasn't giving you 100% transparency that he was going to choose you, you knew when he kissed you, he wasn't going to choose you. So why did you take your ass to the club with him in the wee hours of the night? And I think that's relevant, because y'all know the old saying, how everybody go, ain't nothing out after midnight besides the devil. Like, y'all know how people say that. What are you going to be doing in the club after midnight? And I'm not saying it has to be sex, but you're spending intimate time with this man who you know is not going to choose you. So I'm like, girl, that's more dangerous to me, that you're manipulating the optics. So I had to go in on her ass.
I feel like the fact that she continuously said she didn't see him as a threat, even though I get what you mean about the optics. Once she has said that she didn't view him as a threat, I feel like at the end of the day, she said he wasn't a threat. She said she didn't feel like he was threatening her. And I don't feel like any of us felt like he was threatening her. So ultimately, like, if that was her intention, it didn't happen that way, because nobody feels like he was trying to harm her. But what is really bothersome to me is that I can't have the opinion that I feel like he shouldn't have touched her without people feeling like I'm just trying to be right about something, because I haven't disagreed really with anything that y'all have said. I just feel like when it came to that one thing, I don't understand why I can't say that that's not how he should handle it, when that's literally against the law. If somebody wanted to say that he touched me and I told him not to touch me and he continued to pick me up and put me in a car, she could have called the police on him and she would have had a case, because he touched her and she asked him not to. So it's annoying to
but
me.
I think anyone who's saying you can have your opinion, you can't listen to them because they're just trying to fuss with you. So I feel like every rational person know your opinion is your opinion. So if anyone who say, well, you want to be right, just ignore them. Like
I know, but I still want to express that I need for people to understand it, because I feel like just in general, y'all often neglect to hear when women are saying something is wrong. Y'all and they don't like how people are coming at them physically. Y'all really love to neglect that. Like, there are even people in the comments saying, "Oh, if I'm drunk and belligerent, save me." As a grown woman, why would you ever be somewhere drunk and belligerent for a man to have to come and save you?
I have been my 30th birthday. I was drunk as fuck my 30th, and not that I need someone to save me, but the dude I was with, he didn't save me, but he made sure that I got home safely and did not go home with a dude who I remember from years ago who was there. Sometimes we put ourselves in situations that we don't intend to. and you hope that whether it's
The
you want a
opposite is
dude to
true.
save you or your
Calling
friend
the
to say,
police could
hey,
have got them both harmed. Wow.
because it's like if the same way we want if we are out together, I'm not gonna leave y'all if I see y'all too drunk. Because I'm not gonna save y'all, but I want to make sure y'all get home safe. I come from that point, but I think with Phil and Shiloh, it's just we're seeing bits and pieces of information, and everyone sees it differently, but no one's like wrong. It's just like but the kind of girl they're gonna be
think
that.
we all just have different viewpoints. Bondy, I understand where you're coming from 100%. And that's when we had that conversation. I kept saying, if you put this in black and white and you silo the conversation to he picked her up and put her in the car and she didn't want to be touched, you can say that's wrong. But many people don't have progressive thoughts when it comes to men and women. Most people think traditionally where man knows best. That's your man, he gonna protect me. He gonna do this, he gonna do that. So I think that's what they were thinking. I decided to focus on Shiloh because I felt like majority of the episode was her trying to make him look bad. So I can say, yeah, Phil's wrong. But I was like, let me talk about this right here.
And I don't disagree with you about feeling like she could have been manipulating how she felt about him not choosing her and then using what happened to beat him up with that as well. But I also kind of felt like, well, you kind of fucked over the lady either way you look at it. So if she felt away, is she not entitled to feel away? But let me read this. Feel good. Thank you for the super chat. I don't always agree with Bondy. Child, nobody does. However, she is absolutely correct. A man touching a woman when she is angry is dangerous. I personally don't like it. And as a little person, people are always trying to crowd me or get me under some type of control if I'm upset. So I personally have not really liked that feeling myself, but I'm not even putting myself in her situation. I just kind of feel like ultimately moving forward, people just need to understand when somebody is saying you did something that made me feel uncomfortable. Can you just not do it again instead of trying to make excuses for your behavior as if it's okay just because you've decided it's okay? When at the end of the day, it's her body. Like he didn't do something that was outside of her. He did something that was directly affecting her body, not his own. So that's when I think the conversation shifts. But I don't disagree with how y'all feel about her, mentality and all of that. But I'm just more so bothered by some of the things I see people say in the comments because I feel like it's indicative of y'all mindset and that shit is dangerous. Thank you, April B, for the super chat. Phil should have been eliminated for those hair plugs. Girl, it looked like Velcro. I was so confused. It was like it had sharp edges, but then we couldn't see the scalp. And then there was like a shiny moment with it. So I was like, what texture is this that I'm looking at? And it's that Velcro. It's those hair plugs that they get. It's so sad. And Shiloh doesn't look 33, but I'm going to let it go.
Nah, she didn't. The one thing I want to draw the parallel between this whole scenario reminded me of when Muleman got mad at Walter at the pool and walked away and basically said she was done with Walter. I kept using the term beat the boot. I feel like Shiloh was also trying to beat the boot when it came to this. The situation, she knew she wasn't going to get chosen. The situation blew out of hand. So she was like, I'm going to beat the boot. I'm going to disappear before you tell me I'm not ready to love.
I think Tami didn't do I think Tami knew she gonna probably leave because her and Phil beefed out. So ain't no point until they got home that she gonna go home. So
I'm glad you said Tami because some people was like, why he was trying to make them look in each other's eyes. And honestly, I often feel like Tami, as much as I like Tami, he is a old school mindset type of man. So I feel like they don't necessarily read their room all the time. And trying to require them to have like this intimate moment when it was obvious that they were not in that place was just kind of him not reading the room properly as far as I was concerned.
He was ready to get to his cigar lounge or brunch because they called him in on his day off. He was like, y'all called me down here to this foolery. So I think he just treated it like, yes, why are we here? He was like, I'm going to treat this like y'all going to get through it. All right, bye. Scene, cut.
For sure.
Well, with that being said, y'all, cut it. Let's go ahead and move the hell on to Portia's Family Matters. Child, so much happened on Portia's Family Matters. Lord. It's just like the Klan's update for the stories. I don't know if y'all remember that. They used to give the update on the radio in like 60 seconds for the stories, child. Bull and a beautiful child. Brooke was always fucking somebody daddy. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into Portia. So the main thing with Portia was, first of all, Dennis versus Dom. So we got this breakdown apparently in the relationship amongst Dom and Dennis. Dennis used to feel like Portia's people were his people too, but now he feel like they the ops because Dom told Lauren about the woman who Dennis cheated on during cheated on Portia with during the pregnancy, told Portia that she was working at Crew, one of his restaurants, one of his hookah bars. So he had basically rehired this girl. He had fired her after he slept with her because Portia was pregnant and said, fire the bitch. So he fired her. And then as time went on, he must have rehired her or something. And then that got back to Dom, that got back to Lauren, that got back to Portia. So now Dennis looks at Dom like an op. And I think a lot of people felt how I felt, which is like, Dennis, you are not about to make Dom's messy ass responsible for you getting caught out there another time, because that time was not the first time.
But were they saying that he cheated or the girl that's working? Because
the girl was working. They found out the girl was working at one of his Crew restaurants. Not that he had actually cheated, but that girl was working at, yeah. But that was also, wasn't that also around the same time? Because I feel like they for real broke up around the time when that picture showed up with him down to the diner with all of the girls.
We said that was the second time they broke up. So I feel like when he cheated, they probably broke up the first time because he cheated. Mm-hmm. Boom, they got back together, and then later on, when the girl was working at the place, when she found out the girl worked there, she got pissed and they broke up again. But I feel like, look, Dennis is a piece of shit. Dennis never wanted to be in a relation. He is charming. That's what people do. I feel like Dennis never wanted to be in a full-blown marriage with Portia. I think they met. She got pregnant. Okay, let's get married. I think he tried to make it work. That ain't who he is. And I'm like, I think we should like, okay, that's not who he is. It doesn't mean there wasn't wrong. That's what fuck Dennis. But I feel like, why is y'all talking about this now? Like, why does it matter? And also, I'm like, Dom, why tell Lauren? No, Lauren gonna tell Portia. If Portia pregnant at the time, like, it was just too much for me. And I feel like I don't know the point of them trying to keep talking about Dennis and what happened 4 years ago, 3 years ago, which was, to me, that doesn't make no sense. I'm like, Dennis, you can't blame Dom. It was your fault. However, why are y'all even discussing it now? So I was over that.
It's because Dom is on.
I'm about to say, apparently Dom wanted to discuss how Dennis wanted to catch a fade.
That, and I also feel like Dom is a model. Like, why did he bring that up at the table? They discussed this situation 3 times. Once after yoga, once on the tequila tasting, came back and he discussed it again in front of Portia. What else? Oh, okay. So one thing I wanted to talk about, I found it interesting. Initially, I was like, okay, maybe Dennis didn't know that the girl was working there. 600 is a lot of employees. But I'm like, how do you have visibility to Storm, who you hired and fired multiple times, but then you don't have visibility to one of 6? Like, do you have visibility to one of 600 employees or do you don't? When it comes to the girl you was cheating with, you didn't know she was there. But when it comes to Storm, you close enough to your 600 employees to hire and fire.
I don't believe that nobody would have told him. I don't believe that. Like, somebody would have told him, Dennis, you know, old girl is working down to the Crew, right? Like, somebody would have said that, because everybody would have knew who worked at that place. They would have known who the girl was. So I feel like, you know, he lying. He lying.
I'm concerned because I feel like I don't think Dennis hire and fire. I don't think he cared enough to hire and fire. But I do think he had people in place who know certain shit. And when he said, like, the girl probably would have told them we fucked because she would have got hired. I think Dennis know, the staff know, anyone who I used to fuck, don't hire them. Because if you hire them, I got to be around them. It's some bullshit. I think he knows Storm because Dennis he fucking forced it.
So you don't think Dennis is out there trying to have sex with the people that he hires?
I'm saying if he's already fucked them, he don't want them to come back after he's fucked them. Because that's drama.
I
That's
mean,
why.
let Storm come back. Shit.
I don't think he fucks Storm. I
But
think he likes Storm.
but I'm just saying, like, if you really don't like drama, what you let Storm come back for?
Honey.
If she was so terrible, like,
That is interesting. And better yet, I want to know why she came back. Because there's plenty of places where you could go be a bottle girl or a hostess. I'm not understanding.
I do want to say she said that she did not go back. She said that it happened and then she quit. She didn't go back. So I think Dennis was the one that said, you know.
I think she was suspended and he was saying she was fired. You're right. She's probably, you know, the insubordination, whatever, you get suspended and then come back. And then they had to fire you. So that's what she said. So I think after she was fired, she didn't come back. Price suspension, yeah.
Okay.
I'm still trying to figure out the timeline with that. Because she said when she was 18 or 19, but then he said he threw her a 21st birthday party. So they had a relationship for at least 3 to 4 years.
She said it was the 20th. She said it was her 20th birthday, not her 21st. Yeah, that drunken live was a lot. She got stormed. Portia's little cousin got on live and said a lot of things. She called Dennis a Pedialyte on Twitter. You know, she said that he harassed her and that he assaulted her, and she posted pictures of her cuts and bruises and things of that nature. But from my standpoint, unless I see different footage, you probably got hurt in the kerfuffle of the fight that was happening because you were standing behind Portia and Portia was swinging on Dennis. So maybe you got a few elbows to the face because Portia was, you know, doing all of this here. Okay. Now I'm wondering, was Portia trying to fight Mama Gina? Because that's what everybody is saying. But I could not see that from the clip that we saw.
Dennis says it on the next episode that she did Lauren J. his mama.
It's weird because what do y'all think? So with Storm's pictures, the bruises, do y'all think that Bravo would have kept filming this show after Dennis beat up a woman on camera? Do y'all?
Yeah,
so I don't.
They would have.
See,
they would have just put a little black screen on there.
Yeah,
if you or anyone you know has experienced domestic abuse, please
they would definitely hang Dennis' ass up to dry if he did that on television.
They
would have milked the ratings. They would have milked the ratings. They would have said they as a network don't approve violence against women or whatever. And they would have still aired that shit and got them ratings.
But that's the thing. Because they haven't done that, I don't believe her right now.
Right.
Oh yeah, no. We don't believe
that's
her.
what I'm saying. I think that I don't believe her. It's just weird.
Not about that. I just believe that Dennis probably, you know, sexually harasses the people that down to the crew and to the hot dog stand. You know, so he just come off like that.
What was y'all's opinion of the way the fight happened? Because I know we all watched it probably 20 times.
I kept rewatching it. I had to record it and then watch it backwards and forwards because I'm like, and I kept looking at different people each time because I'm like, you seen Storm look shocked behind Portia. And to me, the reason I feel like Dennis wasn't trying to fight Portia was because Simon to me was too calm. I feel like Simon, who was right in between Portia
Simon wasn't gonna
Dennis,
do shit anyway.
He would have at least grabbed Dennis. The fact that Simon did not try to at least stop
care like
Dennis.
That.
See, I don't know. But
I don't think he cared enough to. Remember, Fallon said he let her get jumped down to the gas station. That's what Tisa kept saying on her live. That when her and Fallon did that interview, she was talking about how she got jumped by like 6 girls, and he just let it happen. So at the end of the day, I don't think Dennis' daddy would have done anything. I think Dennis' daddy did exactly what he would have done, which is try to keep his son and his little young wife apart.
So, this is the weird thing. You seen Portia putting them out, saying, get out, get out, get out. You see Dennis walking. You see Mama Gina walking. It's fussing back and forth. You see the waitress walk up. You then Dennis say, go ahead. Waitress walks, and then Mama Gina walks. And I'm like, you couldn't see his mom because she's so short, and the bounce was really tall. When I seen Portia say, you heard what I said? Dennis was talking to Simon, and when he seen that, he seen, and then he then went in between Portia and them stairs and did this.
The security was right in front of Portia, so you couldn't really see what her hand was doing, but you saw her head movement. And that's why I feel like we can't tell whether she was lunging or whether she was just talking, because you know how people are when they're mad. She could have been like, and what? You know,
I can see that. I wonder if she also did that. Like if she jumped, because one of her right hand was still on her cousin. And you could hear her saying, you heard what I said, but I'm thinking she must have did something like that. When he said love, because he says it in the next episode, that Portia launched at his mom. So I'm wondering if that's what he's referring to.
Like, and I'm also wondering,
her, like, get out.
If she wasn't really lunging, but because of the way security was pressing against her, if she was kind of like talking and moving at the same time, because security was backing up as Dennis was walking around security. So she's like off in the corner. So I feel like we can't really tell from this angle if Portia was trying to fight Mama Gina, but the way she let off on Dennis, it made me feel like whatever happened, Dennis, I think, misunderstood it. And when he went to grab her, she was like, and then pop on him. If she was trying to fight Mama Gina, then they would have been trying to hold her back from fighting Mama Gina, in my opinion.
I think Portia was, okay, just like you said, it was hard to tell exactly what happened because I ended thinking she could have been trying to argue with Mama Gina or lunch. Who knows? But the reason why I'm leaning a little bit more towards her wanting to fight Mama Gina is because if Dennis had misunderstood it, I'm not understanding why it immediately went to throwing bows. Like within,
because I think of the way he grabbed her.
2 seconds.
But see, I don't
did he grab her hard?
I don't think he grabbed her. I think he just reached to separate.
No,
but I don't think he had enough time to grab her.
But it was the way. But I'm saying, I think it was the way he did that made her think
Simon
in that moment.
Hand. Simon,
but that's what I'm saying. Just in a moment, I think everybody was just misunderstanding the movements. Like, I don't think
Portia was fight Dennis. She was trying to fight.
No, I think Portia was trying to fight Dennis, but I'm talking about in the moment right before. I think Dennis might have thought Portia was doing more than she actually was, and Portia being already mad and irate and on one whenever Dennis touched her. However he might have touched her, she might have been like, pow, pow, pow. And you can tell that that's probably the way they have fought before. Portia was mad about that lady walking around in a thong. You better know Portia saw Miss Girl and thought Miss Girl was cute and felt the way and was pissed off and was looking for any reason to let off on him, which is why she overreacted at the table. So I think she was waiting to find a reason to let off on him, and him trying to stop her in any type of way physically from touching his mama. The way she feels about that relationship, I think she was on one and started fighting him just because she was looking for an opportunity.
And I also knew it was all about Dennis from jump because no shade, but Portia usually, whenever she talks, nothing sounds well thought out unless it's coming from another person. And whenever she wants to roll back, whenever she was having that conversation with Lauren and she came up with an excuse to say, no, I'm fine with the girl here. I'm just mad at Mama Gina. It took me back to the conversation that she had with Simon when Simon, City Boy Simon, basically told her to project all her anger for Dennis on Mama Gina. How are the two of y'all blaming Mama Gina for all of the chaos? So I knew in that moment. Then when they was at the table, Portia made 2 comments to me that was like, oh, this is all about Dennis. She said, oh, good, Nick. You remember she said that? Then as soon as they start talking about the waiter or the waitress, she said, Simon would never do that. Simon would never sleep with one of his bartenders. No, but Simon would marry, or not marry, because that don't even sound right coming out of my mouth. Simon would have a play engagement with his wife's ex-coworker. Girl, I can't wait till next week. I feel like the episode was pretty slow leading up until the last 5 seconds. So we're going to find out what happens next week. I also feel like Portia knows she was wrong because she came out trying to make Dennis look bad like 2 weeks ago. She said something about him on social media and everybody was like, that must mean that Portia did something
her mothering wrong. Because she was saying, I think it almost seemed like Dennis might have said something about her mothering, and she was saying that the baby was with her in Mexico for a few days after everybody had left. So I don't know what Dennis said, but it don't seem to have anything to do with this, but it did seem like she was trying to do crowd control or some shit.
Yeah, she was trying to prep us.
Jami, what's going on?
Dom, I don't understand his claim to fame. He really got on my nerves. The way you could tell he was fishing for information, the way he kept prying into what Dennis had going on, that really, really bothered me. And that's why I really like Auntie Liz, because she sees through him and she saw through him from the first night when she said, I don't even know you. You're not even my family. Like, I don't even know you, sir. So, and she also said that to Mama Gina, like, he'll bring up the most salacious thing that he can to get a reaction. Portia was definitely upset that Dennis brought somebody else to the island. She thought that she was going to use that opportunity to make him jealous by flaunting her new fiance, and it didn't work. So she really got upset. I also didn't like that Mama Gina wanted to change the conversation, but Portia wouldn't let the conversation change. But when Storm hopped in the conversation and Dennis told Storm to shut up, now the conversation is over. Well, Mama Gina was just trying to get you to change the conversation, and you didn't want to do that. So it took Dennis to check your cousin for everybody to get out. Then you wanted people to leave, but you go and you get in their way of leaving. You go and stand right next to the exit. Like, why is you standing right here if you want them to go? Security was absolute ass trash. Why did y'all see? First of all, you know this big ass camera here in the crew. They can't go to the left of the camera. They gotta go to the right. So why didn't y'all have Portia move down there with her people? And Portia, why are you standing up here trying to protect Storm when Storm the one that got all this mouth anyway? What you standing in front of her for, protecting her for?
Because Storm is
she got
her
a
mouth.
mama. Let her mama get up and protect her. Why are you over here trying to do it? So that was that. Yeah, Portia was really upset about the lady. She was mad about the lady being there and just the failure of their relationship as a whole, to be honest. Because when she was telling him to get out, she said something like, I think she said it again, you're disrespectful ass, or you're something she said to him that gave me the vibe of what a woman would say to a man she's dating.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
No good.
Yes.
No
That's
good.
Yeah,
what
but
she
you
said,
know good. Yeah. And then next thing you know, she took all that anger out. She wanted to release on his mama and then threw it off on him. It was a very terrible situation. And it shouldn't, if security is bigger and taller than Portia, it still shouldn't have even got that far. She shouldn't have even been able to swing on Dennis had security been doing their job.
Can I ask y'all something? I wanted to know what everybody was feeling about the tension though between Dennis and Storm, because I feel like I was feeling it before this even happened. It was kind of like, what is going on with them? It's giving Pam and Martin. And as we recall, in real life, Pam and Martin fucked.
And I was going to mention that because as Jami brought up a good point about how they were being contradictory about when the conversation could end. What I noticed on Dennis' part was Mama Gina was saying, can we change the subject? I was not mad at Mama Gina saying, let's change the subject. Because if you're moving on with your fiance for now, move on, right? But Lauren responded to Mama Gina and said, yes, but Dennis is still keeping the conversation going. Your son is still talking. Right after Lauren says that, Storm backdoors and said, but your son is the one still talking. And that's when Dennis loses his mind. He didn't lose his mind when Lauren addressed his mama. It was when Storm addressed his mama. So I'm like, triggered? What is going on? What's the backstory?
I wonder if it could be observation. It could be that they have some other type of history than what we think. Or it could be that Storm is a disrespectful as a little girl and nobody checks her. Everybody pacifies her mother because of what her mama done put her through. And that's where I think Dennis gets annoyed with her little ass. Like, you always want to jump in grown folks' conversation, then if ain't nobody gonna tell you to shut the fuck, I'm gonna be the one that's gonna tell you to shut your ass up. So that's where I think some of his annoyance for her come from. Like, look at the situation. This same girl, Portia standing on the wall trying to protect, stood up against Lundy and said, "Oh, what you gonna do about it?" Then she stood up at the table trying to fight Lundy, and now you over here protecting her. That's the shit that I'm talking about. Because of whatever she's been through with her mom, they sit up there and they pacify her. And Dennis doesn't like that. On top of pacifying her, of course, Dennis likes to get away with his BS. So not defending him there with the BS, Miss Girl gonna be running her mouth. So even if he wasn't trying to holler at her at work, she's telling Portia about all of the stuff he was doing. And that's why
that's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm feeling. Like, it's some shit from at the job. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, they may pacify her, but you still hired her and had her down to the job and was throwing parties for her. What you was throwing parties for her for, Dennis? If you ain't like her at some point. Like,
this is the end in his defense, and I asked this question. Dennis owns quite a few bars. So is that something he does for all of his employees for their birthday? Because some jobs give you a whole day off, right? If you work in corporate, so they may give you a whole birthday off. But if you work in a bar, he may be like, oh yeah, I'll give you a section for your birthday. It's your birthday, you work for me, whatever. That's a part of the employee perks. But the way he said it on TV was trying to make it seem like I'm the one that threw her first party. Everybody their first party, because that probably is the employee perks.
Well, if that's an employee perk, then that's cute. But don't act like you was doing something special for her and then act like she was terrible as an employee the whole time. And that's why she don't work there, especially when she done turned around and said you was trying to own her. I'm just saying.
See, what aggravated me the whole episode was Portia keeps saying, well, Mama Gina don't have nothing with our relationship, so she should be out of it. But Dom ain't in there. Neither is Storm. It aggravates me. They want to pick and choose who can comment on whatever. So I feel like if my mama can comment, your cousin can't either. So I think his issue could also be, I keep shushing my mama, but not her. She keeps talking shit, and it's her. It is not what it's how she comes off, like a fucking brat. And me as an adult, I can't stand bratty people because shut up. Adults are talking, be the fuck quiet. So I do think it's that because she consistently gets involved when it comes to Portia and Dennis. And that's stupid because if you don't want us folks involved, keep Lauren out of it, keep Dom out of it, keep everyone out. You can't pick and choose. And Portia wants everyone to beat down on Dennis. But I'm like, it don't matter now because we know he said he cheated.
Mad because they're not doing it because everybody likes Dennis.
Right.
So that, I mean, think about the barbecue.
She
was mad at that barbecue.
He has a fiance.
Exactly. But that's how we know the fiance is to make Dennis mad. Like everything you're doing with Simon is to make Dennis mad. Anyway, thank you, Cheekbones Galore, for the super chat. Portia, didn't you call Kenya a big bully? And let me just say this. I love y'all and I appreciate y'all. Thank you for that super chat, girl. But what we're not going to do is act like Kenya wasn't every much of a bully as she was. Just because Portia is aggravating as hell when it's just her does not mean that Kenya did not overreact to being called Miss America. Okay?
Shout out to Dennis though, to Dennis for turning around in the middle of the argument and saying to Darlene, "You were part of the problem."
Right?
She is. She is. That was the best. That was the truest thing he had said that whole time was that she's a part of the problem because the rest of what he was doing, and I'm gonna tell y'all this thing that worked on my nerves about Mama Gina. Even though I agree with Mama Gina, why are we still talking about this if you moving on? But at the same time, Dennis was the one that wanted to holler back and forth with Dom about he shouldn't have said nothing. And, he should have been quiet. And why he worrying about my penis? He needs to be worrying about his own penis. Dennis was going the fuck off. And everybody, everybody was sitting up there acting like it was everybody but him. It was like he was going off about that. He's still mad about the fact that Dom told on him because him and Portia probably had gotten in a real good place. He was keeping that lie alive and everything was good. He probably wasn't even fucking nobody at that moment. They kind of go back and forth. He probably was in a rest period and thought I wasn't even doing nothing and she broke up with me.
Rest period.
It was a rest period because he's not the type to be committed to somebody completely like that. Even when people are attempting to be in monogamous relationships, they cheat. So somebody like Dennis, that's the reason why him and Portia are not together is because he knows I'm not ready to not be out here fucking on all these little young girls that want to give it to me. And Portia wants Dennis' daddy because he makes her feel like one of those little young girls that Dennis is out here saving, his marriage ring for. Like, she don't want to have to compete with those young girls, so she gonna go get her old nigga now. I'm just sad that it seems as if Portia lives in La La Land to the point that she's willing to give up what she has created for herself as her own woman in a way for a man. And she's constantly doing that. And I also have told y'all, I do not like the way she assigns her relationship with God to her relationship with a man. That shit is, that ain't the waste way. It's not.
Tragic.
It is. Any other comments for Portia before we move on? That's it. That's all. Okay. Well, guess what? We got a new little segment for y'all. Okay, listen. Thank you, Jami, for that one. Okay, we was feeling it. So, you guys, I went ahead and watched this full interview, right? Because there was a clip going around of a sexologist by the name of Michelle Hope. Okay, she is like, I think MH Sexpert, something like that on Instagram, but you can Google her. Her name is Michelle Hope, right? Sexologist. She was on this
Holt?
panel.
HOLT.
No, Hope.
Oh,
HOPE.
okay.
I'm
I was
sorry.
like,
Let me get that right. Sorry. But she was on 8 at the Table, which is gaining a lot of traction recently. You will remember they had the conversation, what do Black women bring to the table? That conversation was, kind of big when it happened, right? So now they had another viral moment where the woman has her vagina, her little stuffed vagina to show y'all, the
Her
vagina
vulva.
parts. Her vulva,
Right.
yes, let's be very clear. The vulva, because she wanted to let y'all
Mhm.
know that the lip part is a vulva. Inside is the vagina, just so we're clear, okay? And so she was like, why are you trying to beat me up? Very serious conversation around the language that we use to talk about sex. Now, I'm guilty of this myself. You know what I'm saying? I say shoot the club up all the time. Okay. Thank you, Charlemagne the God, for that one. Okay. But just to go, who gave me that? That one. Okay. But I do want to say that I do think that we have to start paying attention to words. And I think around like the 80s or 90s, we stopped caring so much about the things that we said publicly, as far as how we talked about sex, as far as how we refer to sex, especially towards Black women. And so even though I feel like there's always probably been more violence towards Black women living in a racist society and all of that, there are numbers that show that violence against Black women is like extremely high, especially in domestic violence situations. And that kind of mirrors the language used to describe sex acts with women. Okay. Now, people think it's just surface level. She's on this panel, and honestly, I felt like the panel, if you watch the interview, I have it down below in the description box. The interview was good for two reasons. One, it was a good subject matter, but also because we were watching her respond to their ignorance. She had it up to here with trying to have this very serious conversation with people who could not handle this conversation like adults. First of all, you have one of the guys that's sitting down there mad because the conversation is serious and not about how great pregnant pussy is, which is just disgusting within itself, that you want to ask somebody, why is pregnant pussy so good? As if he wanted to dumb the conversation down because y'all making it too deep. Because she wanted to talk about how this language that we use is violent, and it's showcasing in the way we are desensitized to violence against Black women, right? So I was in the comments on this post, and I said, because I was reading some of the posts, and the girl was like, yeah, because when they be banging it out, it gets really swollen and it hurts. And the same girl gave another example of when she had sex with a guy and his thing was so big, like she said, the next day her stomach was hurting because he had bruised her cervix. Okay. So the conversation that they're having about sex changes when one of the girls, I feel like, wanted to let it be known that she takes big dick all the time, and that
That's who I wanted to talk about.
Girl, when I tell you that girl was so damn ignorant,
weird flex,
I said,
but okay.
Girl, you said the same thing I said. I said, that's the weirdest flex to tell another woman. Y'all, it is very weird for a woman to tell another woman,
I couldn't hear shit.
You just... You back?
Welcome back. Welcome back.
I couldn't hear that. My sound went out. So
okay. So we're talking about that 8 at the table conversation, and then we got into the portion where the one girl turns to the sexologist, the 40-year-old woman, and tells her, you just mad because you can't take dick. Because the woman is trying to explain that even though you're so excited about the huge penis that you are getting banged out by every day, your vagina actually only in inches is 8 to 9 inches at its longest, and that's only when you are fully aroused. So your vagina is not fully taking anything bigger than that. Anything bigger than that, if it's going all the way in, it's doing damage, and that is not what it's supposed to do. So there's this idea that as women, and that's what the girl didn't even realize she was actually exhibiting. She was almost trying to argue with the sexologist about
that her
these
vagina
facts.
could take.
Yeah, that her vagina could take this big old dick, and that something is wrong with the rest of you girls light-skinned girls, mind you. I felt like she was coming from this standpoint of because a lot of the comments after the fact were trying to dress the sexologist down because she's very light complected, like she's not a black
I missed
woman.
that part.
Yeah, she was talking about, because I watched, she actually did a live yesterday. I had just followed her and then she got on live and I was watching her live. And she was really trying to have this conversation about how the way we talk about sex as it pertains to Black people in our community, in urban society, whatever, beating the pussy up, those conversations are understood amongst adults. But when children are listening through the gaze of adults about sex, they form these ideas about sex that can be violent and they'll think it's normal. So if you like rough sex, then great, that's rough sex. But I need for you girls to know that your vagina should not be that sore after. Yeah, if you were getting banged out for a good hour and a half and he has something sizable, you should probably be sore for the next day or two. But it should not be like painful like that. You shouldn't be swollen like that. Not for real, if he knew what he was doing. And I have to ask these girls who are so excited to have their nether regions damaged after sex if you're actually having an orgasm. Because I feel like a lot of y'all don't know what good sex is because you view good sex based off how your partner feels about the sex when it's over versus how you felt about the sex when it was
And she said that. The one who was trying to glorify how much peen her vagina could take, she was the one in the interview that said for so long, sex was never for her. It was always for her partner. And then she makes it seem like she's evolved since then to learn more about herself as a woman. But then in the same breath, is talking about how almost making it seem like she's better than the other girl because she can take more peen. I'm like, you still go back. That's like bird logic. I have to say that. That's bird logic. The comments that she was making was more so to like impress men. I do have to say the sexologist had some really, really good points. She was aggressive in the tone in which she was talking to them from jump. Like it didn't just go from, 0 to 10. It went from first ignorant comment, boom. Like I'm telling you,
she didn't even crack a smile. When the girl was like, because I want them to murder the pussy. It's the same girl. She was like, because, maybe we just want them to murder the pussy and everybody's ha, 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 ha. And the sexologist.
Then the comments about the safe word. I felt like it was very chaotic. And I know people like to say, y'all be talking over each other too much. We've improved on that. We have good conversations regardless. Y'all understand what we're trying to say. But this panel right here, how you going to invite the guest on to teach y'all formal education about sex, but then y'all keep over talking her about sex? Like what? It just,
and then arguing with her about like the facts. That's what was killing me. Like, why are you arguing? First of all, they asked her a question. They were like, okay, so how do we have these conversations that are uncomfortable amongst partners? Like if I like something, if I don't like something, how do you have these conversations? Because sometimes, especially men, they don't know how to handle it. Like I had one time a dude was down there. I said, oh yeah, this way, or keep doing it like that. And a nigga got mad and upset and walked away because it was too much direction for him. Okay, because he was so child, whatever. But y'all know what I mean. That's just,
you have to get it like Simon says.
Okay, you need to learn, don't be mad, learn, okay? But either way, the lady was like, if you write it down in the moment, so like when you have that moment where you're feeling like something didn't go right, write it down so that when you want to have the conversation, you can have the language to say it later on. That's what she was trying to say, because a lot of times we'll feel things in a moment, but by the time it comes time to talk about it, we can't exactly figure out how to vocalize or put words to what we were feeling in that moment the way we could, and we will write it out when we're feeling it. So she was trying to give them that advice, and this girl turns around and says, I feel like you're trying to overcomplicate sex. And I was like, girl, sex is the most complicated thing in life. What the fuck are you talking about? Sex is the only thing that can kill and give life at the exact same time. Like, I don't even understand how something that is so serious, you could say, girl, I can't be writing nothing down about it. That's overcomplicating it. But you never even knew how to have pleasurable sex. So it's kind of like, girl, what? Go ahead.
I didn't see it, so I don't know. But I feel like certain people can't talk about sex. I feel like you can invite someone somewhere to have a conversation. But the way y'all explain it is as if they were trying to be funny with sex conversation. She was trying to be serious. I think you can't, and both can't happen at the same time. It's like sometimes they didn't read the room, so another guest may have played around a little bit more, whereas that lady seemed like, well, no, I said what I said. So I think even just with sex in general, there needs to be consistent conversation. Like if you don't, your cooch should not be beat up. That's a given. Take what you can take. Let that be.
Somebody argued with me about that in the comments. I was like, okay, don't listen to me. Multiple orgasm having ass bitch. Don't listen to me.
It's a thing where everybody has to be open to what they want to discuss. I think as women, it's just now being okay to have open conversations about sex. So before, women didn't know, so she just may not know that she's not supposed to take big dick, and she don't know that. But I also feel like you're supposed to talk to your partner. Like there should be more communication before we even have sex. So I know what you like. Like I think people sometimes just get the fucking.
And that's what she said, Jay.
And that's what
the exact point you made is what she said in the interview.
I told you I live a life. But because like the conversation about what I like should be what you want to hear. Because why would you not want to know? And I want to know what you like. People they don't talk anymore, and they just fuck. Mm-hmm. And if that's going to do, then go fuck and be married. But I also think that comes with age, time, experience. Like I think no one knows what to say they first, second, third. It takes years to figure out what you want to do. And if you still haven't got there, but that's the same girl that said she's uncome from her man. It's not trampoline pussy.
Girl.
It's just people have to do what works for them.
Pussy
and
made
if
of
you're
steel.
not open to the therapist, they don't have a room. But I think they didn't. It sound like they didn't read the room, and it just got crazy.
They didn't.
But, I mean,
they didn't. But I'm gonna tell you, I noticed that nuance of when she said that not only to the sexologist, but she said it to the other girl that's on the panel, because the other girl was like, well, okay, because my coochie's tight and small, bitch, and I can't take all of that, fine. Because she was like, because you can't take dick. And it was almost like, that's a weird flex to try to say over another woman, you can't take dick. Ma'am, that's only a flex between you and your man when, he likes to see the thing disappear and all of that. That's great for y'all, okay? But that's not something that you can argue with another woman, because if she can or can't, that does nothing for you. So what was that for? It was just weird. And I feel like it's because as a browner skin, thicker woman, I think she views herself in competition to women who are, light complected and giving Latina vibes and all of that. She, a black girl, but she was giving island vibes. But still, I felt like you low key find yourself in competition with women of that complexion. So you already had some underlying kind of aggression, which is why the first thing that come out your mouth is you can't take dick to everybody as soon as you want to say something, because what, the brown thick girls take all the dick or something. No, don't over sexualize the brown thick girls like that just because that's what you want, ma'am.
Yeah, I haven't seen the video yet, so I don't have much to add regarding the topic at hand.
Okay, so how do you feel about the whole rough sex situation? Do you feel like dudes be out here, just thinking that if they bow, they did a good job? Because some dudes really do be feeling like that.
I think so. I had an ex that was like that. And it seems like it didn't matter if I complained about that. I think in their head, that was the only way they knew how to get it in. So it made the sex life very unenjoyable for me. And then over time, because of that, other things transpired in the relationship that caused it to fail at a later time. But that just wasn't enjoyable. And then I think
how young, when you were a teenager, a late, a teenager, or
I was
early 20s.
Yeah, mid-20s, early to mid-20s. I think
by mid-20s, you need to learn how to stop beating. Don't beat it up.
People don't have intimacy either. When they get ready, or so I guess foreplay, whatever y'all call it, but they don't really have that. They just go straight into boom, 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 boom.
Right, that ain't gonna work.
A lot of people don't even know what they really like, or any. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that, that's probably why your cootie twat be swole, because he ain't even got you to
the place that it's supposed to go.
It's just let's get into the moment, and then once you get into the moment, he's getting off, you're not, and you're sore the next day or later on that day, and something not feeling right. Just like
But
that
he
person
told
said,
you.
it's because you ain't with enough. He ain't
But he
giving
told
you
you that you took that dick, so you proud. Like
right.
And
And
for
then I feel like with sex, I don't know, but I feel like a lot of women, and myself included in the past, really didn't like it was enjoyable, but it did seem like because I wasn't fully aware or knowledgeable about sex, it does come off like it's for the other person more than it is, for you to enjoy it. It's more so like for the other person.
I think
And
more men and women need to have a I think men think they doing good because men don't sit and talk amongst each other and say what men doing wrong. Whereas women will sit around
Yeah.
with each other, we'll say how we can do things differently. We'll have open dialogue. I don't think men do. I really do wish more adult men and women would have these talks because men don't know they don't know what they're doing. Because no one is saying it. And women we won't tell them sometimes. Just beat the pussy up, I'm gonna go home and leave it be. But I
See,
I
do
keep
think
people
telling
come
y'all,
on
stop
over here.
lying. Stop
I
lying
think
to
the
these niggas. Tell them that you
but see,
didn't
I
know.
don't think it's, I think for me,
You did a bad job.
no, I think for me, when you don't know what sex is supposed to be, you're learning. So until you fully know, I can't express that. So I say for time for everyone, for men and women, it's a learning curve, and it's
Oh
up to
yeah.
us to
And
figure
even
out
with every
when we stop.
person.
Right. So I
It
think
With
it's
is
every
like
because
I
they
think we
person
don't.
have
When
to
you
is
figure
come
it out.
different.
older, when you're growing up, they teach you to not do those things. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Like
you're
even when
not
you come
actually
into
figuring out
exploring your
what you
body,
like. Right.
yes. And it's like sex conversations amongst your partner actually kind of feels like STD talks that people
Mm-hmm.
don't want to have like
Mm.
open
And how to
like
put
Right.
and how to put a
conversations about
condom on a
diseases and
banana
stuff.
and shit. Like
Correct. Yeah. So it's like people kind of shy away from that. Something you said earlier, Bondy, about violence against women is high. Another thing that's really high for me when I think about it is tolerance. I think tolerance and pain level when it
Oh yeah.
comes to women is extremely high. And then they put it in songs and stuff, so they just think that's
I'll
how
be the
women
uh,
like
uh,
it's like the music teach these people how to operate sexually. The
exactly. In
videos
porn.
teach
yes,
these
And
people, yeah,
porn, which is not
yes.
what you're
exactly.
supposed to do.
It's
And
not
not
real sex,
understanding
y'all.
that it's a case by case situation. Everybody's not going to respond to that
This,
of how
Everyone
you
should be
saw it
having
on them.
orgasms though. And I would implore every woman, okay, and every young woman to masturbate. And I say this because when I was growing up, you were made to feel bad for masturbating, like it's something you shouldn't have been doing. You're nasty or something. But no, young women, listen to me, masturbate. Because if you teach yourself how to come, then you can teach someone else how to make you come. Okay. And vibrators during penetration, clitoral vibrators during penetration is amazing. Do yourself a favor. If your nigga feels away, tell him stop being an asshole and just get with the program. He'll like it too. They like that vibrating feeling because they can feel that also when you're doing your thing. They can feel that too.
get your weight on
So
roses.
yes, get you a rose or get you a silver bullet or whatever you want to do. And because I have a few of them. Okay. Don't slip on the sex toys, ladies, but you have got to learn how to make yourself orgasm so that you can teach men how to. And please listen to me. Stop letting these niggas think they did something when they did not. Stop sending them out back into the world thinking that they knew what they was doing when they did not know what they were doing. And men, I know a lot of y'all don't listen to us, but listen to me clearly. What you do for one woman may work. When you go to the next woman, it may not work. So you need to be someone that is going to a situation with a woman feeling like, how can I make you feel good? Because women are always showing up in that mindset. So you need to show up feeling like, how can I make you feel good? Specifically you, not let me show you how good my dick is based off what I learned from Bam Bam back in the 7th grade. Like, thank you, but no thank you. Okay. Because it's a learning curve, like Jay Lee said. You have to learn each other. Okay. Thank you for the super chat. Hold up, it slipped. Elite. Leo, thank you. There used to be a show called Sex Sent Me to the ER. I remember that. That was
I
about
remember.
injuries caused from sex. That's because people be doing too much. Y'all got to calm down and y'all got to have safe words. And don't be listening to ignorant people. If you like to get choked and you can't rely on your nigga to know what a tap is, then you need a safe word so that one day, you know, if he in it too much or his eyes closed, because she was like, the girl was like, I'm expecting my nigga to look at me and see. And it's
Yeah,
like,
nah.
yeah, but girl,
You
what if
playing
his
with your
eyes
life.
closed? Like, what is you talking about? Like, get a
Right.
safe word, bitch. It's not tough. It's not hard. Anyway, y'all
We
should
should
check
get
that
her
interview out.
on.
We should bring that sexologist on here. I thought about it. I'm gonna hit her up in her DMs because I feel like I would love for her to come here and have that conversation because I think we're the ones that can handle it. Sorry, no disrespect to Eight at the Table. Y'all do great work over there. Y'all get us talking, but ultimately, yikes. Ooh, what's the haps on the craps? All right, y'all. So with that being said, are we done? Are we done? Can we move on now? Okay, so we're moving on to the Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Y'all like a lot of new shit? Hey, look at us with a lot of good
It's
shit.
cute.
You hear
It's giving
me?
new season.
It is. Okay, so where do I start? So I guess we can, let me look at my notes because I feel like I want to start with the whole love and marriage DMV situation. But I don't think I see the graphic for it. Did you make it, Jamie? Did you make one for
Love and Marriage DMV?
Yeah. No.
I didn't know
Okay.
that was on it.
It was talking about that. I think I added that in last minute and I thought I had sent you a picture of it, but I probably didn't. But anyway, y'all, we don't need a picture of it because it's not actually happening yet. But y'all know Monique Samuels from Real Housewives of Potomac, right? You remember season 5. It was a guffaw. Either way, she's gonna make her way allegedly back to reality TV. TV Deets, what it was last week, announced that she was going to be on Love and Marriage DMV, and it's going to be her and some other people, Arena and James Tyler, Ashley Brittany and Roberto Silva. I feel like they have some drama, and TASHA and Neil Lyons. Okay, people are on the radio, people are ex-football players, but either way, these are, you know, Monique's friends, and Carlos is bringing them all together on OWN Network for us. Apparently, they're supposed to start filming in actually January. They're supposed to start filming in January. I don't know when the show is going to come out, but if this is happening the way we think this is happening, I am super duper excited. Ladies, what do you think we can expect from Love and Marriage DMV?
Drama.
I hope no side chicks. There's no side chick. I just don't want no
It's
side
probably
chicks.
going to be some side chicks.
I'll take them. Yeah, it's gonna
It's
be
gonna be
interesting.
some friendships that ain't gonna make it the first quarter. I wonder if anybody's coming in that already have issues with each other.
Oh,
But
well,
it's
I'm
always
glad
some
you said
friendships
that.
that's not gonna last.
I can read to y'all what they said. Okay, they said previously Arena and James Tyler made headlines amid rumors that they were going to join Real Housewives of Potomac for season 6. Arena was rumored to be joining the cast following Monique's departure, but then they signed on Mia. TV Deets adds
Wrong
that
road.
Arena. What? What? I missed
Mia.
it. Oh, girl, that's not even. I wonder if she gonna come back. But TVD said that Arena and her hubby like to be on the party scene and are involved in credit consulting and real estate and run an online women's clothing store called Mission Boutique. Now, let me tell y'all, that is a combination for some fuck shit: credit counseling, real estate, and a women's clothing boutique online. Those are messy professions, you guys, from what we've seen recently. Okay, then we have Ashley Brittany and her husband Roberto. They both work on the radio. She hosts a Fun Times Mom podcast. I heard something about DJ Quicksilver, so we're gonna have to see, but I think they definitely had some drama. And then Tasha and Neil Lyons are not only husband and wife, they're real estate agents, business partners, and co-own mother, father, daughter real estate group Lions Den Real Estate. I think there is definitely some tea out there about these people. I mean, I don't think Carlos would have picked them up if there wasn't any tea, but my Discord has been being stingy with the tea. They say there is tea, but it's too close to home for them. So they're not going to tell us in the comments because you're in here, but I'm going to let it go.
But we won't. I want to know what the tea is.
I want to know what the tea is too. So if there's tea, can y'all please hit us up?
I'm excited to see Monique back. I was mad at Monique for a little bit, but I got to put everything on the ops, which was Giselle and Robin. So I'm glad to see her come back. I want to see how she's portrayed on this show. Like, are we going to get the same Monique? Like, she's the same person no matter what friend group she's in? Or are we going to get a more authentic Monique? I feel like it may be a little more authentic because she kind of curated the group. It's just her. And she don't have to come on and oblige to the housewives politics because it's a lot of that. And they have motives and alliances and how they move. And that irritates the hell out of me. On this show, we starting fresh. And if there's any alliances being made, everybody going to be trying to get close to Monique because she is Monique Samuels. So, I mean, I'm here for it. I'm thinking if they film it in January, we probably going to get a show by July, April, August, September. I was thinking like July, August. Maybe.
I mean, probably considering Carlos and OWN, but ever since the pandemic, I feel like I've been seeing like a 3-month turnaround with some of these shows.
You're right. OWN is way faster than that. This ain't Bravo.
That's one thing.
I want to see Monique. I feel like Monique was, I feel like when Monique first joined the show, she was fun. I think she started moving differently because she saw just how Giselle and them was moving. So I do think that we'll get the real her and not her having to be holding stuff back because she didn't feel like, fuck around with them or whatever. So I like it. Also, Carlos run his show different than Housewives. So they don't really do clicks like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping it's not, I don't want it to be just a different version of Housewives of whatever. I want it to be like Love and Marriage. Like we see there's not no click on Huntsville. It's what's going on. So I hope it's just 4 couples, what's going on, and then the mess of it all.
Look like DJ Quicksilver might be a host. One to watch. All right, y'all. Jamie, you got anything to add to this?
Absolutely. Y'all know I don't stand Monique at all. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, I know a lot of people talked about how they felt like she did an interview and said reality TV is not good for marriage and stuff. But in Monique's defense, I feel like just because somebody say that doesn't mean they can't change their mind at a later time. So she could have said that 6 months ago, and now she wants to give it another try. I feel like she has that right to go off and do that. I did not like Monique on Real Housewives of Potomac, but I might end up liking her on Love and Marriage Huntsville because I did feel like on Potomac, she gave off fake energy. And it made a lot of sense when she got into that fight with Candace, when she talked about how she was like going back to her childhood and feeling like she needs to put on to be like accepted or whatever by those
fit
ladies,
in, right? She wanted to fit in.
Correct. So I was seeing that the whole time. That's why I wasn't featuring Monique. I was like, she's trying too hard. Something's not right. I don't like her. But now she's familiar with these people. This is her hometown. She ain't got to try to do the most or anything. Like she's just going to be herself. So I definitely think she's going to give us real and authentic. And I think it's probably going to be an opportunity for Monique to win over some of those people that may not have liked her. And it could be an opportunity for those people that liked her to not like her. You just never know. It can go either way. But whatever Carlos is putting out, I'm definitely going to be tuned in. And we'll see how it's going to play out. I don't think it's going to be a bad thing for Monique, to be honest. I think it's going to end up being a good thing for her if she comes on over to Love and Marriage DMV.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good decision for her. I'm excited to see what they're gonna give. I was waiting on another Love and Marriage Huntsville franchise. And I think Carlo has been on a hot streak. Carlos has been doing extremely well. So I feel like this show won't be any different, hopefully. Because they need to do something different on Love and Marriage Huntsville. Because as we've all seen, y'all have got to change the narrative, dear God, because we cannot have Arionne Curry on the internet another year talking about how she's making a show that she's not even on. So I
wonder how this is going to work out though, and this is what I'm thinking about this DMV. It seems like the drama is with the other castmates and not with Mo. And when that show
She's the
comes
connector.
in, right? When the show comes in, it's gonna be heavily compared to Huntsville. And the stars of the show have a lot of drama, or at least I ain't gonna say a lot of drama. I'm gonna say a lot of storyline, right? And I'm wondering if Monique and Chris are gonna be able to come in and have a lot of storyline, and it not just be they free. You see what I'm saying?
See,
I feel
because
like a
I
lot
think
of people don't compare, so I'm hoping
yes,
everybody
it's giving.
gives.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from, because it does seem like you might get on this show and fake the funk and try to pretty the shit out of this while everybody else is having all of their dirt laid out, and you get to sit back and act like ain't shit going on in yours.
Absolutely.
Yup.
So
And
I
then we
hope
gonna be
that's
calling
not.
them out like we do with
We're gonna
Destiny.
have to. We're gonna have to. We're
Yeah.
gonna have to call you guys out. We're gonna have to. But with that being said, y'all, I want to go ahead and move on from there because we have a few more things to talk about. I've actually scratched a few things off of our list because I was like, don't nobody have time for all of that. But I absolutely want to make time for Mr. Jim Jones. Okay.
Oh,
So y'all,
sound effect.
Jesus.
I watched the lip service interview in its entirety. And I want to preface this with saying that I actually like Jim Jones, y'all. I'm one of them ignorant bitches that finds him extremely attractive and am glad that I never came into contact with him because it probably would have been stab, stab, kill, kill.
I'm
You know,
shocked
in
with
a
this
way.
one, Bondy. I'm shocked.
I'm sorry. It's something about, I'm not gonna lie. Even when he was sitting up there talking about the cryptocurrency and the NFTs and like he's smart. I think he's very, very smart. I love, like, for instance, they asked him, so how do you feel about men taking gifts back from women? And Jim was like, that's corny. You don't do that. Like, you gave it to her, let her have it, whatever. That's some corny shit. Like, even the way he understands life as a man, even though he's ignorant, like, in some hood shit, there are things about him that I find redeemable and I get it. Okay. So I'm sorry, but yes, I low-key find Guillermo hot as fuck. But at the same time, problematic. So I can't really be attracted to him, but I can't deny that I get the appeal of him, is what I'm saying. And I also want to say that there are good things about Jim Jones. Jim Jones has been able to stay relevant when everybody else is not. And to be very clear, Jewel's may be relevant, but Jim still has all his teeth. Like, it's a different vibe going on. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to give him the pat on the back for, keeping it healthy. All right. But that's as far as it goes, because mentally, poor Jim. Poor Jim, y'all. Jim doesn't even understand that when he said on lip service on this interview with Angela Yee, they asked him, they were talking about sex. And honestly, I noticed that he gets uncomfortable when they start talking about sex. As a grown man that you can talk about beating pussy up in songs and all of that, which I'm sure he has, he got uncomfortable when they started actually talking about sex, which I found funny, but it made me feel like, okay, there are issues there, And I read some things about covert incestuous relationships, which are relationships when a parent makes their child take on the characteristics of an adult partner. And we saw that happen with Jim and Nancy on Love and Hip Hop. We saw that in their relationship. That woman got way too upset by the idea of him marrying Chrissy. She kept trying to act like it was about her not being included, but you were upset that he might marry that woman and make her his number one, his wife. You never want to feel like you're competing with someone because you've made him your emotional husband. So we've always felt this way about Jim. Y'all know Chrissy has been the long-suffering girlfriend fighting with Nancy like she the other woman, like they two sister wives holding Jim Jones down. And then he says that his mom taught him everything about sex, verbatim. She taught me how to tongue kiss. Everybody in the room is like, what do you mean she taught you how to tongue kiss? He says she taught me with her mouth how to tongue kiss. And when he realized everybody was like, whoa, he was like, what do you mean? That's my mother. And I was like, why she act like it was a joke or he was lying or something like that later? So I'm going to play y'all the video of his response after everybody had my reaction, which is this is disgusting and sad, and he doesn't know that this is an incestuous relationship. But this was his response.
For the record, I love my mama more than anything in the world. And for the record, it was a joke. People take things way too far. Don't bother us anyway, but let's get it clear. That's weak what you're trying to project. Yeah, some simple, some from our childhood. We talk about childhood things. I thought that was funny. I appreciate you, Mommy, for helping me out, but no. Cut it short, Jack. Cut the book. You heard? Life is good. I do appreciate all the support, and thank you for letting me go trending again, viral once again. But stop it. Love you, Mommy.
Okay. He also said in the interview, y'all, and then I'm gonna let y'all go. But he said in the interview, he said that when his mom kissed him, it didn't bother him at all when she taught him how to do it. But when he had his first kiss with a girl, he was angry about it. And I was like, you're explaining it because you really don't recognize how dysfunctional it is. And I wanted to handle this conversation delicately on the slick because I feel like this is something that actually happens when people kind of form these relationships with their children. Just a little backstory right quick. His dad, he said he loved his dad, but his dad was on drugs. His dad was on heroin, just like his brothers. And I think they all succumbed to, ailments from being on heroin, whether that was, AIDS related or ODing. He didn't specify, but he said that's how they all died. But his dad was in and out of his life. And he says his mom always spoke highly of his father. And it was because his mom was in love with his father. She was a teenage mother in love with her little high school boyfriend who probably got pregnant by him. And when he got on drugs, he wasn't a part of the situation. So I feel like she then put her love for Jim's dad onto Jim. And I think in some ways that relationship had boundaries bleed over. Not intentionally trying to do anything to your kid, but not fully understanding the boundaries that should have been put in place as a mother to son, because you just don't really know any better and y'all still don't know any better. But I'm gonna let y'all give y'all opinion and then we'll watch Nancy's response as well.
I felt like Jim was immediately when I first heard the clip, I said, oh, he's looking for attention. So for him to come back with this post and say that thanks for helping me go trending, it was exactly what I expected. He was looking for attention. Even though he said his mama taught him how to kiss, I never heard him out his mouth say that his mom actually kissed his lips. That's what he did. That's what he didn't say, but he led people to believe. He just said that she showed me how to kiss with her mouth, like licking her tongue out or whatever. Like that's what I was thinking when I listened to it. And I listened to it more than once. I didn't hear the entire clip, but I just heard like the snippet that was out there. And he never said out his mouth that his mama put her lips on his lips. So when I heard that, I'm like, he just wants some attention because he's letting them believe whatever they want to believe about it because he knew it probably was going to be a moment to go viral. Those are just, my thoughts on it.
The only reason why I feel like this was not an attempt to go viral is because that follow-up video that we just watched was embarrassing in my Jami ThatsMe voice. It was embarrassing. You could tell by the way he was talking. He starts off saying it was a joke, but then ends the video saying something simple, something from childhood. Thank you, Mommy. So what part was the joke? It was a mistake that you told everybody and it really did happen is what I understood. And he didn't actually say, yes, she kissed me. But when the interviewer said, what do you mean? He said, like on the mouth or she with her mouth. I'm like, how else would
he
that
said
be
with her
implied?
mouth. Exactly.
Yeah,
And
with her mouth.
We're going to play her part because she actually also specifies what she did. So give it a second. But thank you, Lil Sally Walker, for the super chat. Glad to finally catch a live in the beginning. I have really enjoyed the conversation. Like, thank you. We're glad you're enjoying the show. Glad that all of y'all are enjoying the show. Make sure that y'all like the video. Damn, I forgot to load the video. Because we have a new one. Jami made us a new one, but that's okay. Once we finish this segment, we're going to hit that old one, and I'm going to make sure we have the next one for the next time. But yes, let's go ahead and run that Nancy response.
I'm doing fine, except for the little excitement that's going on with my son.
Man, have you seen the comments?
The comments is crazy, and everybody needs to understand you're taking it wrong. I am not a nasty mother. All I am is a mother that was teaching my son exactly how to survive and how to actually be able to deal with a woman. And for the information, it wasn't no tonguing down. It was a way of showing you how to tongue. He licked out his tongue. I licked out my tongue. That was that. It wasn't no mouth to mouth resuscitation or whether anything. It wasn't like that. It's all about where's my son growing up and me as a young mother showing her son how to do and deal with life with the young girls because he's a nice, handsome looking guy. You know what I'm saying? And I taught him all about sex. And trust me, everybody, it wasn't about no sex. Okay, just showing him, telling him how and what he got to do. You know about how to.
And that's where the video cut off online. But I'm gonna just say that she was saying, you know, she stuck her tongue out and he stuck his tongue out. And I feel like even if they were saying that they did not, you know, touch or whatever, Angela Yee said, well, my parents don't even kiss me on the cheek. So he was like, no, it's my mother. So it was almost like he was saying, yeah, it's no big deal. And so, you know, even though I understand the moment of going viral, I don't think he meant for it to be this way because I feel like he was embarrassed. Like Necey said, I feel like he was embarrassed in that video. And I think that Nancy also trying to come up and specify what actually happened. He never would want to let me say this. He might want to go viral, but I don't think he would ever use his mom or, you know, send people her way negatively to go viral. That's the only reason I wouldn't think that. I really think while he was sitting there, he thought what he was saying wasn't a big deal. He thought it was just, something that, you know, my crazy mom did. And now the way people are coming at him, I think he's understanding, okay, so everybody doesn't, you know, kind of have these types of stories about their mom. Like, I'm just saying, y'all, your parent is not supposed to try to like show you how to do those things. You're supposed to try to learn how to do those things on your own. Like, I'm just saying.
Yeah. So for like the Jim Jones part, when I seen it earlier, I was like, that's nasty. Like I just
thank you,
to me, that was just nasty. So what it was, but I don't think he was joking. I feel like he said what he said, and it wasn't until again the reaction is what made him kind of double down to say, "Oh, it's my mother." I think to him that is normal. I think even the tongue out part to me is weird because I'm like, I don't want my mama. I don't want that, but I get her saying I was trying to show my son how to be with women, but it's still weird that both of them are trying to explain it away, which to me means they know is something weird about it. Because if not, you wouldn't care what anybody said. And I think how he explained it, you didn't even explain it as if she didn't kiss me. You explained it as if she kissed you. I think when explaining anything that your mom, that a parent does, say what it was. I think he was kind of vague with it because he knew they may not really know what it is. But I'm like, I think she kissed him in the mouth. And it's weird. And that's it. And now they're trying to explain it away.
For real, if she really kissed him, and that's disgusting as fuck. That ain't even weird. Just disgusting. Disgusting. And to be honest, when you think about it, it's like, how old was he? And why did you think if you were obligated, like out of all of the things you could have taught your son about how to be a man and to go out here and navigate the world with women, what was going on in your head mentally that you thought that was one of the things that he specifically needed to know?
Right.
What kind of shit is that?
That
so
comment,
like that's weird as shit. I mean, that's disgusting.
It was a comment, and they literally took the words out of my mouth. Danae saying it low key reminds me of Lil Boosie, and I'm thinking about the reaction.
Somebody said that shit.
Yeah, imagine if this was a man teaching his daughter how to do that. Do you understand what
the implications? Yes,
and it's very simple. Why do you? It reminds me when Boosie went and hired them, whatever, sex workers, to get with his underage son because he wanted to teach him how to be a man. And it's like, y'all ain't even trying to buy little boys cooking sets, but you want to kiss the boy in the mouth. I feel bad for him. And I also feel bad because I feel like he's embarrassed now because he's like, dang, I didn't realize this was wrong. And I actually said it out loud.
I think so too. And when I read up on this because often when things like this happen, I feel like it's like a deeper, profound thing happening here that needs to be looked at. So I was kind of looking at some of, the language, and they were like, a lot of times parents like will enmesh, themselves, with their children. That's the wording that they use, enmesh. Because they really do, like, for instance, Necey does come off as a woman that has stunted growth, as a woman that stopped growing at some point, stopped retaining wisdom at some point. As an older woman, Necey comes off very immature, and she kind of always has. And that's one of the signs of a covert incest relationship, is the parent themselves stunt their own growth, not just their children, but their own growth as well. And they also guilt their children. So their children feel guilty of abandoning them. So that's almost why I feel like he never was able to go and marry Chrissy, or, take his life away from New York in any real way, because he always had to be there for mommy. And in our culture, even in Latina, because he's half Puerto Rican, half Black, in both those cultures, you're supposed to take care of your parents. So people think that mindset is okay, but honestly, it's a little bit, it's not healthy when he can't go and form a real attachment to the woman he loves, because he's scared his mom is going to be upset at him because he's abandoned her. And I feel like when you pay attention to the way he moves and the way he talks about her, I feel like that's really what it is. That's why I would not take him, using this virally as a reason, because I felt like it was indicative of what we had seen from him, throughout our time seeing Jim Jones as a person out here. Thank you, DeQuasia, for the super chat. I thought that it was also telling of how he explained Necey's motherhood of being a teenager when she had him, and basically said that their relationship is more of a sibling dynamic. And that's another thing that's weird, though. Why do you feel like you need to show your sibling how to kiss? And that's why I feel like she had misplaced. I think he probably looked a lot like his father. He reminded her of his father, and she loved his father. So I think that in her love for him, in the way women treat their sons, there was some unintentional boundary and line crossing in the way she mothered him. And if for nothing, we have to say that's obvious in the way she was involved in his relationship with Chrissy, if nothing else. Thank you, Keisha, for the super chat. What happened to the practicing kissing in the mirror?
That's just very, I don't know. I mean, she was also on drugs at that time, right? Because I'm just not.
She was. She was on drugs throughout his childhood, but I'm not sure if she was at that time. But he does say throughout the interview that his mom was there as well as his grandmother. So, it probably was an in and out thing. But he did say his mom was there more than his dad. So that's what made me feel like she may not have been on drugs the entire time.
Probably not. I mean, everybody's different. I'm a mom of a son. I had my son at 18, and that ain't my brother. That's my child. Period. So I don't know what was going on in her life or what she had going on for him to even suggest that or say that as he's you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. As she's coming up, I don't get the dynamic, but I didn't live her life. But I don't think all women that have sons treat their sons like their siblings. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's my child.
No, I don't think that at all. Honestly, Jami, shout out to you for not being one of those, because it seems like young single mothers tend to like attach onto their children because it's just the two of them. So the relation, especially if they're young, they feel like, oh, we grew up together, but really, it's kind of like, yeah, but no.
Well, I think it has to be a healthy balance. I think you have some parents who, it's the unhealthiness we see with Mama Jones and with Jim Jones. But however, I do know for a fact, I do know young people who had kids when they were younger, and they are not like siblings, but they're like friends because they were both so young. Like my oldest goddaughter, her mom had her, she was like 13. So they did grow up. So they are like sisters, but however, it's not. Yeah. So yeah, she, so she was 13 with my oldest goddaughter and my oldest godson. She had when she was 17 or 18. We were seniors in high school. However, I have two friends like that. My other got when she was 16. But there's a friendship between mother-daughter, but also with the sons. But it's a healthy thing to where, because they were so young, it is the camaraderie, like you, my mama, yes, but also is a good relationship. I think I don't want to make it seem like anybody who has a friendship or sisterhood or whatever their child is weird. Jim Jones, Mom Jones is on some weird shit. But I've seen healthiness because I was so young and I was 26 and she's 60 or whatever age it was. Like it's a friendship. And so I think that's what I wish Jim and Necey could have had. It's just that shit turned the other way.
Right. Yeah, no, I absolutely feel like there are, obviously there are healthy, relationships where you can be a friend to your child without making them responsible for you emotionally. And I think that's what Necey did. She made Jim responsible for her financially, emotionally, and in that way. I mean, even when you look at the people she was friends with, they were all people around his age. You know what I'm saying? So it just showed that she was never progressing and having a life outside of him for real, like she should have. And when he said for Christmas, we went over there by mommy's house and we were over there and da-da-da, I'm like, you still have this relationship with her where it seems as if she's like the first priority, she's the one that you want to go, home to and all of that type of shit, which I'm sorry, that's not how it's supposed to be. Especially since we know he's still with Chrissy. Chrissy is like, I don't know what it is, but her ability to stay with him,
But does Necey have? Because Necey not like married. She's not married or whatever, is she? Because isn't she like single?
I don't think so.
I wonder if the reason. I wonder if he's all she has. So it could be a thing where he doesn't want to leave her alone. Because I'm thinking like I don't ever hear of any other family members besides Necey and Jim. So I do want, like, who else? Like, what other
right?
family
If there's other family, I feel like there's probably other family because he said he grew up with his grandmother, and that made me feel like there were other people on his mom's side of the family. But either way, she still is grown and able enough. Go and get you a life out there, girl. He can check on you without you having to be his number one girl. And I feel like when men have that type of mindset about their moms, that's my number one girl. Yeah, no, it really shouldn't be like that. That's weird. You need to find a woman to be your number one girl. Your mama need to be your mama. So yeah, it's just weird, but I feel like it's a conversation that needs to be had because often I feel like people don't want to have these conversations when it's a mother because they don't like to think of women doing these types of things, but they very much cross these types of boundaries in a lot of Black households and Black families. And we know because as women, we've sometimes had to deal with mamas who did not like us for whatever reason. And, just all of this over coveting of their sons as if, every girl is out here to trap your amazing, handsome son. It's like, girl, do you want to fuck him or not? Like, okay. So I think it's definitely not just Black at all, but we Black. So that's why I was like, it's prevalent to us. But thank you, Amani, for the super chat. Probably why he won't marry Chrissy. That's what I said. That's what I said. That's what came to my mind. Like, that's the reason why, because in his mind, marrying Chrissy will completely put her as that number one person. And that would probably feel like some type of betrayal to his mom, which is why, if y'all remember, she lost her fucking mind when Chrissy proposed to Jim. Do y'all remember? And Jim was so uncomfortable sitting there. And I think one of the things that was going through his mind is mommy is probably losing her shit right now.
Yeah, that's emotional.
I can't remember, but yeah.
That's super prevalent. I remember being on Facebook probably like 2 years ago. This girl I went to high school with had her baby. And in high school, she was one of them pass around, insecure. Ended up having this baby, post this long post about, now, yes, finally I have somebody to love me like forever. And I'm like, damn, the baby ain't even, 5 days out the womb, and you are placing your insecurities and emotional responsibility. She had a boy on this boy. And I'm just like, come on. I ain't got no kids, but everybody, it's just a toxic cycle. When you with people who haven't had the healthiest relationships with parents, and they always say, oh, well, I saw this from my grandparents. Yeah, whatever. And then they don't know how to parent, or you get into a relationship with a dude and he don't know how to parent. And it's just like, that's sick, even from an emotional standpoint. It's sad. Everybody needs some counseling.
For real, in a real way. But they the type of people that feel like ain't nobody need no counseling. Nobody ain't tell nobody my business. Like, you need to tell some damn body so they can talk you through how you sound crazy, and you need to redirect some of that shit. But Y'all go ahead and like this video so we can move on to our last few topics. Okay, so for the sake of time, I'm going to give you guys a choice. Okay, so I have 3 final topics, right? I have this Joe Budden says something about the Fresh and Fit podcast. I have Tami versus David on the Real World, and of course, lastly, we are going to end with Arionne. So I'm kind of wondering, do we need to, like, do y'all want to talk about the Joe Budden situation?
I didn't
Because
even read it.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can.
Yeah, let's talk about Tami and David.
Let's talk about Tami and David. Okay, so that means that I'll talk about Joe Budden in the Bondy Blue show, y'all, just so y'all are aware. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to Tami in Real World. Okay, so y'all, I had to do some research for this subject matter because I needed to understand what the hell was going on between Tami and David all the way back to 1993. Okay, because I did not watch Real World in 93 because I was only like 5. So I wasn't watching it back then, okay? I wasn't on reality TV in 93, my bad. But either way, y'all, I caught some of these clips. And back in 93, David was the type of guy that wanted to make everybody laugh almost to a fault. And I'm going to take it a step deeper and I feel like he was using a black woman to be the butt of his joke because that was easier for him around all those white people than having to actually be funny. But either way, he was very
volatile. I watched the show. He was that way with everybody. David was like, I watched the season.
Yeah,
David
was
an asshole.
He was volatile
to everybody.
Volatile.
Like it
wasn't he lunged at somebody. He was wilding. Like, no, it wasn't just Tami at all. He was volatile then and he's volatile now. This season, Tami said he threw an apple at John. I was like, I need to go back and watch this whole season. It's on Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus be buffering too much, but I'm still going to try to watch it. Either way, what I learned from 1993 is that Tami was in a bed in underwear. Everybody's in a room talking. And here comes David trying to snatch the cover off of her. And she keeps telling him, stop, don't do it. Stop, I don't have any clothes on. And he kept doing it. Now, because the shit is uncomfortable, she's laughing, right? So everybody's laughing. But the white girl, Beth, I believe, Beth was trying with all her might to keep this damn blanket over Tami, which made me feel like she knew what Tami was feeling like and what that really was feeling like in the moment, even though everybody's laughing, right? So he actually ends up dragging Tami into the hallway with her trying to keep this cover over her body. He never stopped, right? Gets to the hallway. He finally pulls it over her head and she had to like fix her underwear because her underwear were coming down and all of this. And so one of the white guys, I believe it was the one that was always wearing that cowboy hat, but he comes and throws the cover. John, he came and threw the cover back on her. And then David comes back and snatches it off again. So she ends up running into the bathroom to find clothes. And then when she got a chance to think about it, she was pissed. David thought that because she was laughing that everything was okay, even though she had repeatedly said, no, stop. This is in 1993. So think about that now. We're in 2021, right? They show up to the new show and everybody feels like they need to apologize to David because it was almost like they called him a artist. But I want to say that David pulled his pants down, showed his penis, and ran and kind of walked after this woman, one of the women who was saying they didn't feel safe with him after he had done that to Tami. He was like, oh, all right, well, let me just be like Tami. So he pulls his pants down and shows his butt and his penis to everybody and follows this lady behind her. And she was like, and I will call the police and yell R. And that, no, he did that in 93. He did that in 93. But when we fast forward to 2021, he's still acting like they're apologizing to him for how everybody responded to him back then, because they ended up kicking him out of the house because they didn't feel safe, and he never really wanted to have the conversation. He wanted to talk to Tami and them privately or without the cameras on, and it was obvious that as women, they had decided, no, you want to sit down and talk to all of us, then we're going to sit down at this table and talk. He didn't want to do that. So once Tami was like, well, if he doesn't leave, I'm going to leave, they ended up sending him home. Well, fast forward to now, I'm seeing he's had like a drug addiction and all of that. And they made them rewatch the clips from the stuff that happened in '93. And Tami was explaining.
I don't think he was he on. I don't think he was on drugs.
People were saying he was on drugs. He looked like he was on drugs.
Well, no, he got into a car accident about 2 months before filming. So he almost died. He was on a motorcycle and like his head was cut open. It was crazy. So he's different now because of the car accident. He is physically and mentally different. And this is a recent accident. That's why on his head you can see a dent.
I saw that dent. I saw the dent on his head. But I'm not going to say I feel like
2 months ago.
I'm not going to say I feel like he's all that different. I'm not going to say that at all, because Tami actually stayed in the confessional in '93. I don't think he's ever going to change. He didn't feel like he did anything wrong back then. The only reason he felt like he did something wrong was because everybody else decided that he needed to get out of the house. That was the only reason that I felt like he felt bad about what he did to Tami, for real. But people's reaction to him must have been really bad back then, because they made it seem like, you know, Tami ruined his career because it kind of made him look like he was an artist, when it was all a misunderstanding because she was laughing. But the truth of the matter is, I feel like he's allowed that to embolden him to feel like he didn't do anything wrong and everybody was attacking him. And that's not what happened. That lady was perfectly in her right with saying, and I will yell R and call the police, when you pulled down your pants and walked after her with your penis hanging out. If there is no other time for a lady that's not black to yell that, you know, a black man, it's when he's coming behind her with his penis out. Like, you can't get mad at her for feeling like that after you had done all of these things. And to me, his energy was like, even, you know, in 2021, his energy was, I didn't do anything wrong. Y'all overreacted. And, you know, like, he has a right to be upset with Tami. And Tami explained that she had body dysmorphia. That's what I'm about to say. She had body dysmorphia. She was bulimic, and she did not want her body to be seen like that because she was so insecure about her body. We've all heard about this from Tami. And it's a continued issue for her. And even when she was explaining that, he was still laughing about it and feeling like, you know, she need to just get over it, you know, kind of. So I just kind of feel like David is still an asshole. I don't think that David has changed at all. I think it was like, I laugh, but I'm doing something that's messed up, and I know I'm doing something that's messed up, but as long as everybody's laughing, then I'm going to act like it's okay.
It was interesting to me that when he got to the house and he explained that he was scared, and they showed the tapes of the aftermath when they made him out to be an artist, he wanted them to empathize with him because they could never understand the fear of a black man back then. But then this episode, when they have conversations about race, then it's like, what does race matter? It's corporations that are against us, black on black crime. It's like, he is the epitome of stereotypical black men. For example, like when Lil Wayne said, Black Lives Matter ain't got nothing to do with me. Whatever black men feel like if they are an outlier, they have the ability to be completely separate from struggles of other black people. They don't want to be associated with it. So it's like, on one hand, you want us to feel bad for you because you were a black man who was called an artist. But on the other hand, like, black people killing each other. Which one is it? His behavior was disgusting. He kept trying to, I think he has a lot of self-hate. Even the way he was coming at Tami during this argument, he tried to make his own points. But what I hated was that he tried to use things to embarrass her as a black woman. You had to keep calling out the fact that she was wearing a wig. Then you had to call her bald-headed. Then you had to talk about how your daughter got hair all down her back. And it's like, you hate yourself, high key, and you don't respect black women, which is why you can so easily get upset with this black woman, call her a bitch because she's calling you out for being weak and not standing up for your people. It was disgusting to me. Even his behavior back then. In the first episode, I lightweight felt bad for him because I was like, dang, he probably was afraid. I was like, he probably was scared, but I can empathize with him based off that one moment because one, I hadn't seen the old seasons. And two, I was like, he's a black man and you have this white girl using the R word against him, right? But then you don't even have that same empathy for other black people because you think that you're an outlier. So it was disgusting. I hate it. I hate it 100%.
It's because I've watched the old stuff and the new stuff, it's too much to even explain. I feel like the season is touching on different things. I think each episode is about a different thing that happened before. With Tami and David ended horribly back in 93. And they both have had this hatred, for lack of a better word, towards each other for both of their situations. And what I liked was on episode 1, they was able to show us Tami's version of how she felt back then and also David's. I think back in 93, we didn't see behind the scenes thing. We didn't see how Tami felt or how David felt. So they both got to a point of, well, I didn't see your point of view then. I can see it now. But David still felt like because all these years, Beth called me a R because I said I would joke when we put in some cover. That ruined me. Because he was in a couple of movies at that point in time. He was in a few movies back then. And when the show aired, all his
House Party 3. Stinky.
Right. So he said I got dropped once the show aired because of what Beth said. So his anger was mostly with Beth for what Beth said about him, not really Tami. But come now, all these years later, it's weird because he's trying to fix his image, but not doing a good job. Like, I felt bad seeing how he reacted back then because those were authentic moments. But he's had 20 years to grow just a disdain for all these people, and all of that is coming out. The current episode, what I liked was when David said, I didn't have to speak up because Tami had her point of view. I don't want to fuss with Tami because they always fight. So I didn't mind him saying I didn't feel like fussing with Tami because if I spoke up, it would have been a fight. Fine. I like they both being sat down and talked about their different points. Tami's like, I am about preservation of us, and he's like corporations. They were first having a fine conversation, both speaking their points. The part that I felt like things changed is because Tami told him he was a slave because of what he said.
She said he had a slave mentality, and he did based off of the stuff he was saying.
But I still feel like the same way Tami had a right to say what she said true, but I wasn't mad at him for being offended. I feel like they still should have sat there and still talked. David didn't want to talk no more. And that was shit went left. And Tami had every right to call Reggie because he was saying put a wig off and all that. I felt like Tami, like I have too much to lose to fight this man. I've grown to fight him. And to me, and this show, David being the same David he was before. All the empathy we had, I'm like, I can't. Because you still want to fuss with Tami and not have a conversation. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Barika.
She blew up over the years.
There's a color. Yes, you did. And I wanted to say that I felt like when he was talking to his old lady the first time, I was like, his old lady probably a white girl.
Yeah. Especially when she said his daughter had hair all down her back.
All down her back.
Yeah,
he's a colorist. Yeah, he don't like black women at all. And you can tell, I almost feel like he saw Tami as competition. And I think he was so mad at those white women because he felt like those white women were supposed to be on his side and they were not.
Because he was against black people. He thought that he was saying what they wanted to hear.
As white people,
the advocate for them. And he was upset when he wasn't. And then you highlighted a comment from Tina where she said David is envious. Absolutely. It was plain as day to me that he was envious when he said, not Bonnet Chronicles, it's gonna be Wig Chronicles.
Yeah, what she do?
I think he's a comedian. He still think he's a comedian. When Tami said, if you want to talk funny. And not have jokes, then let's talk. Tami was trying to have a conversation.
She was. I feel like she was even trying to have that conversation back in 93. Like I almost felt like it was the same moment all over again when she got up and went in the kitchen and came back and then like fully expressed her emotions in an intelligent way to this man. She did that shit that first time in 93 and she did it this time. And it was like he still wanted to feel like he didn't really do anything wrong. Even though he kept saying that he was sorry for how she felt, he still felt like what he did was, okay, and they just overreacted. Like, I remember what he said in the confessional on the first show. He was like, y'all chose the wrong side. After he had done all of that crying, he basically said that Tami was still wrong in the situation because she, was upset that you did that to her. But to me, like, I was talking to Lyric, and Lyric was like, as a man, I would never be, even if I thought it was funny, pulling no cover off no woman like that, because I know what it's gonna look like. So the fact that he didn't think that it would even look bad that he was doing that to her, I felt like, yeah, you just don't care about how this affected her. You don't care. You just want everybody to feel bad for you, feel sorry for you. And the fact that everybody came there wanting to apologize to him, I said, y'all have nothing to apologize for. That lady that said that he could be an artist, the things that he had done, and then when Tami explained later on the way he touches you, like, he had done other things. And I think because it was 93, women were conditioned to think that behaviors were normal, and we were letting a lot of things slide that we should not have let slide. So even though I understand 93 was a different time, the shit still affected the women the way it affected the women, because they all felt uncomfortable and they all said the same things.
I want to look at Lita's comment, which is true. David's whole issue was that the incident back then, they all put on just him, when it was him, and it was also John, and it was also, I think, what the other guy was. So his anger also was they put everything on him, and he wasn't the only one. Because they showed John as he's pulling the covers off Tami. John was on the ground.
He tugged at him.
3. So his point was,
it was a lot of stuff. They were all playing a part.
Stuff. And I think his whole point was, from his perspective, and I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
He felt like y'all all blamed just me, and it wasn't just me. It was also John who was the one who first started pulling the covers off Tami. It wasn't David first, it was John. But people then put it all on him. So his thing was, y'all blame me, and I didn't even start it. I came into the joke, but it was all of us joking. So I think his thing was, y'all all can't still just blame me. And I like that when John then said, okay, I played my part, Beth played her part, and so did Irene. So, but he still, to this day, I think didn't get you were still wrong too.
Right. It wasn't just you, no. And I agree that everybody needed to feel bad for what happened. But I also feel like in the moment, some of them were laughing, but still felt like something was wrong, because even dude went back to put the cover back over her, because obviously they felt like, okay, this is kind of getting too far. And that's what I was saying about him taking jokes too far. And I feel like that's like, I'm sorry, y'all, but that reminds me of our culture. Like, the way he was acting was very much reminiscent to me of how people laugh away when dudes low-key be angrily doing shit to women because they low-key be mad at those women or don't like those women. And they do things and pretend that it was a joke or I was just joking. No, you were trying to humiliate that woman because secretly you view her as competition and you're jealous of her. So you were trying to use her as a joke, and it turned out really bad. And now you want people to feel sorry for you because it branded you with a name that you did not deserve, because you did not are anybody. But the things you were doing were in line with somebody that takes liberties with women that he should not. So yeah, David's still crazy, y'all. Oh, but Reggie showing up. I was so here for her calling Reggie when she said, "Let me call my husband." And Reggie said, "What happened?" "Oh, I'm on the way.
I'm on the way."
I'm on the way. I was like, yes. Lyric said, because I don't want to hear anything else, because as soon as you tell me, babe, this man did da-da-da-da-da, I'm going to jump through the phone. So just, babe, this man, I'm on my way. I don't need to hear nothing else. Click, I'm on my way. I was like, yes, Reggie, yes, Lyric, please come to the aid of the women's, because ain't nobody about to be out here fighting no crazy ass David. Because David, I saw them clips from back in the day. That nigga was crazy. I was like, why would they acting like, oh, and you know, another thing, y'all, didn't he work with Dave Chappelle after the fact? It made me remember Dave Chappelle did that skit about Real World, and they made it seem like to me, the skit was like a parody of what if a white boy got dropped into a whole bunch of black people. And, they kept doing shit to him. They, fucked this girl. They stabbed him. I think they stabbed his dad or some shit like that. And then at the end, they was like, we don't feel safe with you in the house. So we think it's time for you to go. And then they kicked him out. So Dave did like this whole parody of the situation. And I'm like, it makes me think about just how misogynistic Dave Chappelle is. Because I feel like you hired him after that because you felt bad for him. Because we see that's what he does. He comes to the defense of problematic black men. So I think back then he came to your defense. You went to write for him on Dave Chappelle on the show. And then they did that parody of The Real World and completely left out the portion where the black woman was humiliated in front of everybody by the black man. And everybody was a part of it, but still, like, he only took the racial, storyline of that. He didn't point out what happened with Tami. He only pointed out that all of the white people turned on the black man and made him out to seem like he was, the villain, when really they was fucking with him. Like, that's how Dave made the skit seem. And I'm like, now that I've seen it, I'm like, yeah, nigga, you completely just left out all of the stuff that actually happened. Huh, Dave? Thanks for that. Thank you. What is that? Missy, child, I don't know, but you look nice. Thank you for the super chat. Is that what that says? Okay. He felt like they were even because they did it to him first, and he only had his boxers, so he thought he was gonna get them back, which was wrong, right? Because we know a woman being naked is not the same thing necessarily as a man being naked. Not necessarily. It is, but it's not. Thank you for the super chat. But yeah, I wish that he would have apologized initially instead of needing everybody else to make him feel bad in order for him to feel like he did something wrong. And I feel like that's because he didn't feel like Tami was due an apology. If he had done it to one of the white girls, I think he would apologize immediately. But because he did it to Tami, I think he felt like he should have been able to just get away with it and everybody should have just let it go. But yeah, that Dave Chappelle portion kind of blew me. I was like, okay. Now I see. Anything else, ladies? Child, y'all ready? Y'all ready for the last topic? Y'all ready for the last topic? Is y'all ready for the last topic? I don't hear y'all. What's going on? Are we asleep? Or we up?
Yes.
We sleep or we up? Okay, I'm glad we up. Let's go ahead and let's see. Did I load it? I did not. I did not load it. And that's because it was long. So I thought I would just go ahead and play it for y'all. We're going to listen to Arionne Curry, y'all. Y'all watched our reviews. We all went viral this week talking about this shit, okay? Arionne Curry, the mistress, the side chick, whatever you want to call her, got her ass up on Tasha K's platform and made a complete bird fool out of herself. And after everybody has given their opinions, you can go to all our separate channels to hear our separate opinions about it because we have all told y'all about it. She got online and she decided to give her response. Okay. And she was on live with people. So this is basically, people were asking questions, y'all. So I want y'all to, know that there are other people in the live. But just some of the things that she was saying, reiterating some of the most ignorant moments. I want us to just go ahead and, take a little listen, a little look. See, let me get this picture off of it. Okay. Do y'all see the girl? All right.
Yeah,
we're here.
Yes.
We're ready. All right, y'all. So let me go ahead and play it. Can y'all hear it?
No.
No.
Okay. Y'all can't hear it? Okay, that means I gotta. There we go.
The show wasn't even, you kept the show relevant. That's the only reason why I watched the shit. Yeah. To see what was really gonna pop off. The show was gonna start people, they were gonna keep on using my life, they're gonna keep on popping around me. So many people say that. We all know, y'all, at the end of the day, y'all wanna see Arionne, y'all wanna see me and Marcel film, y'all wanna see his interaction with me, y'all wanna see what it was, the group is married to a gender ass girl, how she hold it down. Let's be clear. That's what I want to see. Got old head intimidated by the daddy. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. The man, he loved, it was so obvious on that reunion. I was sitting here like, that motherfucker love that girl. So
okay, so before we get into the next clip, let's start with this first one.
What does one bird say to the other? That's what I got here.
Girl, I mean, and here's my thing: when she keeps the women who come on here, first of all, the woman who she was talking to in that first clip, y'all, this lady at the bottom here, like, that's no disrespect to this lady. This lady came on there as a wife, but she was like, but you know what I realized, different from what I was doing back when I was young. I messed with a married man and I got paid and but now she's married. So now that she's married, her automatic thing was to think, oh, that girl wrong. But then she was like, I can't judge her because I've done worse. And listen, this is what I want. And this is the reason why I want to talk about this clip. Nobody is saying that this girl is like the worst thing ever in life and that we all have not done things that were just as messed up or along those same lines. Because I ain't never slept with no married man, girl. I ain't never did that. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't never had pregnant by no married man. I ain't never did that. I ain't never want to do that. But I have cheated on people and I have gotten cheated on. So I keep it in the same vein as that. At the end of the day, you still hurting somebody. You still not taking their feelings into consideration. You still being selfish. You still playing your part and not giving a fuck when it came to whatever you wanted to do, right? So when she comes and talks all of the shit that she talks, y'all, and to other women, I'm just like, so do you women need to feel a pat on the back for the dog ass shit y'all did in y'all young days? Is that why y'all come to this young woman's ignorant ass aid and tell her that this man loves her, when a true evolved human being could see that this man does not have the capacity to love Arionne because he does not love himself, because he defiles himself as well as his marriage, as well as his kids, as well as her when he called her a peasant. And to be clear, the reason why he views her as a peasant is because back in the day when kings had mistresses, those mistresses were poor girls, peasants. That's why they could not be with them, because they were kings and they were supposed to be with women who would be queens, not the young, hot girl, like she called herself, spicy young thing or whatever, as she sees herself.
Cream of the crop.
Okay, cream of the crop. Those girls were peasants back in the day. So Martell saw himself as a king with a queen, and you as his mistress, aka his peasant, that was there to make him feel good about himself when his wife made him feel inadequate. But either way, what do y'all think about this first part of the clip, girl? What she said, girl?
Foolishness.
Despair.
It's Sad Chicks United. It's stupid.
It's a coalition.
It's bullshit to me. But let her. She's gonna be glued to her whole life. She needs to fix it.
Jami.
It's the people pandering to her for me. That's what I can't. I just can't. It's hard to digest that y'all pandering to this woman and then really hyping her up to believe that this show is about her. Dear, this show ain't about you, dear heart. And if this show is so about you, how are you still not capitalizing off of it? It's not adding up for me. And you still out here. It's like, this is why we don't like you. It ain't even the act of what you did, to be honest. It's really you and the attitude that you're taking on. This is the same shit that you was doing when you first came out and started talking. Before everybody knew you, somebody put your info out there. When you felt comfortable enough to start talking, you start doing a lot of running your mouth because you thought that was going to help you get on the show, and it only made people dislike you more. See, most side chicks that do stuff and are ashamed and want to take accountability, they fade into the background. But that's not what you're doing. You're literally walking around like you own this show. The audacity. I can't.
She's getting more from this show than she could ever get from Martell. And I feel like the mind is an extremely powerful thing, because listening to her talk and listening to the women hopping on her live, it's clear that there are women whose confidence and self-value is here, which is Arionne, and women whose confidence and self-value is here, like Mel. And what we're seeing is you saying so many contradictory things like, oh, I'm the cream of the crop, yet he would never wife you. Yet you don't aspire to marriage because you don't understand your self-value to even see yourself as a wife. You out here trying to get it by any means necessary. It's bird by bird behavior. And they think that because you got a check and you're ruffling people's feathers who you know are better than you.
But I don't think she got a check though. Who got her check? Who
I'm talking about Martell. I'm
Okay.
talking about Martell. Martell financing her life. Barely, okay? Because I know you're not even getting that much. What is rent in Huntsville? Girl, if you really was cream of the crop, you would demand more. Tragic.
Girl, I'm still trying to figure out how you do all this sucking and fucking and then had a baby, but you did all of this when this man was married. Now you got him. You talking about y'all too damaged to be together. Find the nearest corner.
Stay in it. Let's
Find the
continue
nearest
on,
corner.
y'all.
So, okay, like I said during the interview, she capitalized off the situation. The slander is enough that she does towards me. Apology for what?
Because he was a married man. I understand everything.
He wasn't. Listen. Okay, let me explain something. Married or not, people sue me. It's women who need to learn to check their husbands versus somebody who be going after them. And I wasn't the only one, so why am I bound down to? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm really not trying to be funny. I'm just. I'm really trying to understand. Like, I thought with the interview, I was very transparent. Yeah.
Because it's like, I understand what you're saying, that you guys are doubtful, y'all, made that agreement of, he was stepping out on his wife. But the thing
I didn't take vows with her.
Tom?
I didn't take vows with her. I didn't stand in front of her.
But at the end of the day, that was.
But did I not address that? Did you see the interview? Did I not address that? Did I take 100% accountability for my actions and responsibility for, I took responsibility for it, but as far as like praising, I'm not. She has a whole platform built off of my likeness, so it's nothing to apologize for. At this point, she needs to move forward and bring out his suit.
Yeah. Well, I agree on that part. As far as
okay, so apology for what? You know what I'm saying? Like for what? Like that want to make it seem like I'm just and I don't want to use any cuss words because I always thought that cuss too much, but yeah, like I mean, it's been 3 years now. I'm divorced.
Yeah.
Are you married?
Yes, ma'am.
You are married? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely happy for you. A lot of wives take out their own personal situations. I became America's mistress. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Well, I just want to say this, Luke. Talking from experience, never had to deal with infidelity, thank God. But what I'm saying is, he needs to be accountable for their actions. Yes, you did, acknowledge that on the interview.
I did, but I found that, I acknowledge it. I don't know what y'all think that I was supposed to do. I mean, Arionne, hurry! I'm not about to sit up here and just be on my knees, beg like, no, ma'am. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to please you, but I hope you understand. Okay. I just like it still blows my mind.
Okay, before we get into that last part. So the thing that kills me is that when people ask her why won't you apologize to Mel? And I think people are saying that because you keep talking about how you want to be on the show. So what you need to understand is that to be on the show, you need to be on Mel's good side. And she refuses to accept that. So nobody's asking for you to beg, but if you're going to turn to the camera and make all of these statements to own about how they keep using your likeness, which is really gaslighting them into letting you on the show, that's really what you're doing with this language that you're using. But it's just crazy to me the way she continues to why do I need to apologize? She capitalized off the situation. Ma'am, what does that matter? Why should Mel not capitalize off her marriage? You did. You did when you took those gifts from Martell. Where did you think those gifts were coming from? His private account, bitch. It was coming from the joint money that they were making because they were in business together. Now, if you were getting money when he had his little teacher's check, that's a different story. But ever since Mel and Martell went into business together, anything that you got from that man was from Mel. So when you talk about capitalizing off a situation, ma'am, you've
already done it.
Girl, what? Y'all, I can't.
And then she tried to fix her voice when she said, "You doing all this big talk, and then you find out she's married. Oh, you're married?
I'm happy for you.
Okay,
She kept saying that. Oh,
well,
you married? I'm happy for you. No, you're not. You're mad. And then I'm glad you said that, Jami, because I want to address that comment that she made about a lot of wives like to project their issues on you. I'm more than sure there are a lot of mad women out here that look at you and see whatever woman their man cheated on them with. I'm sure. But girl, let me tell you, I am 33. And I have never been put in that situation, and I'm still a young girl, so we're having a different conversation. Okay, you're not talking to one of them old hoes, as you put it. Okay, you talking
Say
to
it
a
again.
young hoe. Okay, you talking to a young hoe whose husband has not cheated on her that I know of, child, but I kill him dead. You know what I'm saying? But either way, I just kind of feel like I'm in a position to say this to you. You sound dumb. You sound so immature and so stupid. And this is not coming from a place of looking at you like you some girl. Trust me. I wish that we could make you more likable. I wish that you would stop talking so much and then be likable. But the more you open up your mouth, the more we see how ignorant and dumb you are, girl. I cannot, y'all talk. I can't.
Yeah, I
I've been
think it
trying to
made perfect
can.
sense why she is the way she is. When I watched her interview and listened to her talk right here, everything she said took me back to the standards in which Martell holds women. He would get so frustrated with Mel because Mel would not submit to being dumb, playing dumb. She wouldn't allow him to cheat on her. She didn't have this logic of that's just the way the game go. Martell knows that that type of woman is best for him to get over, best for him to lay with multiple times, pay for terminations, this, that, and third, and lay with her again. But he knows that that's not a wife. And again, here she goes saying women need to address their husbands. There she go with that. That's just a part of the game type logic. And it's like, if you knew the game so damn well, you wouldn't have committed yourself to one man for 6 years. If it was a game for you, you'd have been out here in these streets. And the reason why y'all's relationship is so damaged is because you know that although Martell acts like he values you physically for sex, you know you would never be looked at as a wife in his eyes. And to me, what's frustrating is that you had opportunities to redeem yourself, but I can't see how anybody else will look. You gonna say on the interview, what I got from the show wasn't worth what I went through. You making yourself look worse because if it's a game for you and I'm a man who has money to have you as a side chick, I'm not even gonna look at you like that because you've branded yourself as Martell Holt's side chick. So if you were smart, you wouldn't keep branding yourself. And I think she needs to look up the definition of likeness. She talked about how she came on the interview and she discussed with producers and they shot a scene. You gave them allowance to use your name and voice in that episode and you didn't get shit from it.
And that's
So
why
it's
she
like,
mad.
right. And it's even more dumb that she's using the word likeness because I'm like, you only have a likeness case if the general public's idea of side chick immediately thinks of Arionne Curry. But you keep banging this in our minds and popping up on our damn timelines. It's like you're really trying to make that correlation. Go to sleep. Get you some damn counseling. Jami, the people need you to do the two-parent household.
Oh, two-parent household.
Right. And that's when I knew she didn't finish no damn nursing school when she couldn't even name class, lab, yeah.
Electrolytes. Girl, let's play the end of this and then we'll just, just talk about a few things from the original interview that I want to just talk about that I didn't talk about, which was the fact that they were pregnant at the same time twice. And we knew that because we talked to her, to Mel. Y'all check out the interview we did with Mel for the OohLadiesFirstPanel. But we won't talk about that after. But let me play this and we'll continue on.
People give a fuck about these people. Yo, like I said a long time ago, these people lame in real life. Like it blows my mind that y'all care. Like I just be like,
yeah, I just came across your Instagram.
Joker-like smile.
So when I came across your Instagram, this is what it is. She don't seem as though she's capitalizing off of the situation. Not taking away from your business, but you have a small business that you don't use your situation as a front for it. You don't every time you upload a post. It's a hashtag.
Whoever this person is so slow.
You see what I'm saying? So I just wanted to chime in. I think it's live. So I'm like, let me ask her because I see a lot of people making it seem like you said America's mysteries, but it seems though
What does that
already
mean?
issued before they were presented to America.
So you think that I don't capitalize? You think I should hashtag on my business?
No, I don't think you should. So that's how you were.
You might as well.
You were portrayed before
How was she portrayed that way?
I'm like, well, it don't seem as though that's the case. And I watched a little bit of your interview. When I watched your interview, I didn't see anything that was like malicious. If you get what I'm saying.
You didn't?
I didn't see anything malicious, or you were using a bitter situation to capitalize off of. I thought it was going the other way around.
Yeah, because it took me so long to even say something. I thought these people were gonna get a life and be able to discuss something else that was going on.
Yeah, because it's
Girl, shut the fuck.
and it's like these motherfucking episodes to them seasons. And wow,
Yeah, I honestly thought it was gonna be over, guys. They forced me to say something from this last reunion. Like I'm not into drama. I've never been that girl. I've never been. I've always been a sweet person. Like regardless of what situation I got myself into. But you know, I thought they were gonna stop talking about me one day. But I can see that now that they have nothing else to talk about. That Arionne is the top.
And that's where I'm going to end it. I would just like to say, Arionne, girl, you are right. You are absolutely the talk. But the truth of the matter is people love to hate people, and you make people love to hate you because you continuously get up here and say things that make regular people like really dislike you strongly. The linebacker comment that you continue to make as if a woman being bigger makes you better than her. When what exactly do you have? Like, what do you have exactly besides your little boutique that you need to make those linebacker women your 30% off code using? And another thing is that person who was talking to her, making it seem like she was better than Mel because she didn't capitalize off the situation. Girl, if y'all don't stop being stupid together, get the fuck out of here. I cannot.
I want Arionne to truly enjoy this moment for what it is and all of the attention that you're getting at this time. When this fades away, you will continue to be known as
Thank you,
the
Shay.
side chick that had a baby by a married man. When all of this is done, all this hype you got, these thousands of views, people tuned in. That's why I hope when they come back, they remember. I don't know if y'all saw my review when I just pretty much asked, like, where are we going from here in the next season? Because I ain't really want Martell and them bickering.
Yeah.
I cannot wait
We've all asked that
until
question.
your likeness ain't even alike. Like it's not even a breath of air. Like it's nothing. When this moment is dead, then what? You're gonna be searching to be a part of, which is what you've been out here doing anyway from the moment that you started talking. Did y'all see the disappointment in her face when she told Tasha she thought she was going to be on the show, and then she looked at the ground? Did y'all see that? Girl, you want this moment so bad. That's why you still not managing it right. Still not doing it right.
She not.
What's crazy is she don't get. Had you stopped fucking him after season 1, you would be a topic of
if
season
she didn't
3.
get pregnant by him, Jay Lee. That was what I was about to say. You got pregnant with him after the pandemic happened.
Right. It's weird that she keeps talking about the show is about her, but it's not. The reason you fucked somebody's husband, so they're going to speak about that. But it's like, it's not about you. No one tunes in for you. No one cares about you. I think even her having the whole business that you don't even promote. You wore a fucked up outfit on a show that you knew would get a lot of views.
The buttons.
So you don't even know how to put yourself together right. I've seen you look better on social media than on out. It's stupid. So I feel like somebody asked in 2 years, would she be in 2 years? She would be the same that she is now, at home with 2 kids and single, because she not even like-minded enough to know she needs to grow from this. Like it doesn't make it. She really just feels like it's my likeness, but like this show won't even go on forever, and everyone else is like everyone making money off you but you. Everyone.
And then she gonna talk about some
everybody.
Then she gonna say she won't give any YouTubers any attention or something like that. Like she went because somebody said, "Would you do an interview with Funky Dineva?"
Yeah.
Oh, he's too small. I wouldn't
Smaller
dare.
YouTubers?
What?
Yeah, Funky was small.
That's why I
Yes,
wouldn't give
she
her ass a
did.
subscribe. That's why I wouldn't
She
give her ass
did.
a subscribe for nothing. I was like, nah, bitch, if you do
She
something,
did.
I'll come and see, but I ain't subscribing to shit.
But she's saying she's like, I done already put out 6 people I love and marriage honesty. I already put them on. No, bitch, Melody and Martell did that, not you. I already put them on. So why would I put these small YouTubers on? Bitch, you already did. Sorry, ma'am. You
Hi.
already did. You
Hi.
already they've
You already
capitalized
did.
a lot. You already
Because
did.
the show
We
got picked up
capitalized.
before
Thank
they
you.
knew about the affair. The show got
Right.
picked up based on them.
Clownery.
So you didn't
Yes.
pick any damn body. Period.
And
So
she
that's
said
just
that.
weird.
She said that when they first started talking about the show, it was supposed to be about construction. So she knew about the show before they got greenlit. So she knew after the fact. So I was just sitting up there like, girl, Martell disrespected his marriage big time. So sad. Thank you, Asada. I feel like she thought that, I think Martell was lying to her and telling her that he was going to leave Mel and that this show was going to like jumpstart his career and he was going to leave Mel. But he never had any intentions on leaving Mel. Mel
No.
left him. And I think that another thing that bothered me about her during the interview was her constantly talking about how Martell took care of you and how good of a guy Martell is, while simultaneously trying to paint Mel as a woman that wasn't cooking and cleaning or fucking her husband good enough to keep
Right.
him. So she
Her
must
and
not
her
have been
mama.
doing with her and her mama. Right. Her and her mama wasn't in there cooking and cleaning. I'm like, girl, why are you always trying to put yourself in a placement that makes it seem as if you're better than Mel? Like, why are you doing that? And then to turn around and say these married women need to check their husband. Bitch, we would check our husbands if we didn't have to have you on the phone talking about put your husband on the phone. You
And can we
deserve to
just
get
talk?
checked.
Can we talk about how she tried to make a difference between her 20s versus her 30s?
Girl.
Like, you 30, 31, but you just had a baby at like 29, 30 when you got pregnant by this man. Like, why are you trying to sit up here and act like, okay, what I knew in my 20s versus what I know now? Girl, the baby barely won. So why are you trying to make a big distinction between the two? Like, cut it out. You still don't
And
know
she
no
keep
better.
it- and
Then
she
you
keep
sitting up
defending
here
her
just ain't got
actions.
no remorse. Say what?
She does keep defending her
Defend
actions.
her actions. So she'll
Yep.
say like, I'm
Correct.
growing up, I'm
Yes,
getting older,
that's-
but she'll say I'm older now, but she'll
Thank
defend
you,
what she
baby.
did with a married man. So it's weird that she thinks she's grown and don't realize she hasn't.
But he's already
Sad.
demonstrated capacity to leave a wife. So how confident, if you're in a relationship, will you feel? Right. Because once, and then another thing is they never realize that once they get the nigga, he ain't what you thought he was. Now that you getting him all of the time and not just part time. Go ahead, Necey.
The interesting thing about Arionne is this comment made me think, okay, so before hearing her speak out, I thought she was your typical side chick, dating a man, hoping he gonna leave his wife. I thought she was a typical side chick. But no, she used every opportunity in the book to show us that she was nothing but a bird or a trick, because she does not aspire to have a real relationship with him. She explained even from the time they met, it was nothing but a damn arrangement. Like, y'all conversation probably
friends
wasn't
first.
hitting for nothing. You was his therapist for him to complain about his wife. And it goes back to women doing things for men, how we kind of talked about it in our sex segment. Oh, I'm better than you because I can take more of this, or I'm better. She took pride in him basically ejaculating all his anger for his wife and his hate for his wife on her. It is just sad. It is just so sad listening to her talk, because it's like, I really gave her benefit of the doubt by thinking that she wanted to be with this man. She don't want to be with him because she knows that she's not deserving of that. And I'm like, every opportunity you prove us that you are worse than average side chicks.
Exactly.
As fuck.
Then she said dating
like
girls make men drool and they all have
She
pretty
did.
hair. So basically side hoseville is dating. What are you trying to say? I also don't like how ignorant all of those things sound. Like the body shaming, oh, we got pretty hair. Like, girl, what in the ignorant shit is you talking about? Go ahead, JB.
It's weird to me that she would allow him to come to her and unload about his wife. If I'm dating you, or if I was fucking a married man,
I don't want to hear about your bitch.
I don't want to hear nothing about your wife. And the fact that you have all this information about Mel, about Marceau and Tisha and Kimmy and Maurice, you was a good girlfriend because he came to you snitching. or just
Work
the
'em
fact
out.
that you didn't get anything from it is dumb to me. It made me feel like she knew he just wanted her for sex, and she was fine with
Mm-hmm.
that. And that's why now she feel like I don't have to say sorry because I wasn't, her husband. But it's like, how can you say I'm
Thank you,
grown, but
Mel
still
Kumar.
keep saying I don't owe Mel an apology? Bitch, you fucked her husband and had
Exactly.
a baby. The difference, because
Like,
she said, well, I wasn't the only one. Them other
And
women wasn't around for 5 years, and they did not get pregnant that we know of
and
by
if
her,
and
and
if
they
they
did
would have
not make
called
themselves public.
Mel and told her to put her husband on the phone, they would owe Mel an apology too, bitch.
Right.
Thank you, Johnny, for the super chat. I don't understand, or Joni. I don't understand how she has a not animosity for Mel, but can't understand how Martell has and continue to pimp her. He is making money off this narrative and has never stepped in to correct it. And that's another thing. He's also capitalizing off this narrative that's being put out there about you, ma'am. But yet you still, oh, he was so good to me. Martell's a good guy, and he just needs therapy. But yes, y'all, let me tell y'all about the baby thing. So she said that her and Mel were pregnant at the same time once. They were pregnant at the same time twice, from
Twice.
what we understand. The first time
mhm.
is when Mel got pregnant with Sugar Mama. Arionne was pregnant at the same time, but had an A. Okay. And so then when Arionne got pregnant with the little boy that she has now, Mel was also pregnant, but had an A because she was about to divorce Martell because Martell was still dogging her out. So when Homegirl said that he wasn't calling me during the pandemic, well, he had to be because you were pregnant and you had a new baby. And we know how Martell loves to check on his kids. So he was calling you. And I also think that every time he come over about the baby, y'all are probably fucking. Go ahead, Jane.
I just want to say about this whole abortion, this termination thing, whatever. When she had it the first time, she said that's not what she wanted for her life. So you wanted it at a later time for your life when you were deeper in it. Like, that's not even adding. Like, I'm confused. I would think you still don't want it for your life, but you did, because that's giving competition with Mel. And I just could not. Can we talk about how Martell was so disrespectful to share such private information about his wife's medical history with her? And then for her to go to Tasha and talk about Mel like she was a part of the marriage, you're a third party, but the shit that you actually were privy to, like Maurice Marceau, we still haven't gotten real details. But when you come to the third party aspect of it, you talk in confidence like you had a front row seat and you were directly involved in that. That's the that be getting me.
Oh yeah, when she's talking about how she slept with the lawyer. Talking about the lawyer
Like, with
fiance follows me on
confidence.
She spoke like
Instagram.
from first person. I'm like, that's not your business.
And
That's your
Mel's
business.
friends came back and told Martell that they were having sex. Yes. And I was just like, girl, you were
I
so
can't.
excited to say that Mel was having sex with that attorney. Like, and I'm glad that Tasha said, well, I don't think anybody blames Mel for that. I was like, thank you, Tasha. And I'm gonna tell y'all, when y'all watch it back, I know y'all may not have realized it, but Tasha had a lot of times when she was playing in that girl face. To me, the fact that she
Yeah.
kept saying they can't call you nothing
Yeah.
but a mistress, that's playing in your face, bitch. Neither one of
It
those things
was
are good.
But
it
she
was
too
one
stupid to
moment.
realize it. Tasha kept throwing low blows, and she just wasn't catching it because she's
It was
stupid.
one moment that stuck out to me when Arionne was getting excited talking about Mel. She was like, she had a choice. And Tasha said, you both had a choice. And she said, oh, you're right. We both had a choice. Yeah, you trying to make it look like on one hand, she's dumb for trying to make it work with
Saying,
her
right.
husband because you had
Right.
been with him for 3 years. But on the other hand, you not getting nearly as much as a wife will get, you're even more dumb for trying to continue to make it work with a man who's married. When if Martell was just work to you, you could have went anywhere. You look more dumb than Mel. Not even that
And
Mel looks
then
dumb because she left.
And then when Mel got pregnant with Sugar Mama, that should have let you know that they were still fucking. Because you was thinking that he was gonna leave his wife. Remember, they got on the show and he was supposed to be leaving Mel, but he was still very much having sex and doing things with Mel as if they were together, trying to get her back and all of that. So she got pregnant by her husband. I don't need nobody asking why Mel was out here, letting him get her pregnant. That's her husband. Go to hell. Okay. If anybody's supposed to be questioning why they got pregnant, it's the bitch that's not the
Side
wife.
chick.
Okay. But to me, the fact that she got pregnant even after you were called a peasant, you got pregnant after Mel got pregnant, you absolutely was having some type of imaginary fight with Mel over her husband. And Mel was like, girl, you can have him.
And what's even more crazy is how she said Martell was so good to her. Martell dogged you on national television. He called you a peasant. And not only that, the only time he would say good things about you to his wife was to piss his wife off. He used you as a weapon to piss Mel off and hope she would still come back to him. You're stupid. It's like you got pregnant after being called a peasant. And not only that, he played in your face on national television for 3 seasons. So it's weird to me. She said, he was nice to me. He treated me good. No, he didn't. I don't want a man who treats me good in private. Period. And it's not, oh, he's not. No, that's private shit. Publicly, you're a peasant who he knocked up and he still won't say your name.
I want to go back to how funny it was that I remember before we really knew who she was, it was out there that she was a nurse, right? So a lot of, people be like, that girl a nurse, and thought like that made it, that upped her ante a little bit, that she didn't just work down to the Zara, but she was a nurse. And then we find out that she's not a nurse. She was in school and she didn't finish because of what she was going through Martell in the show. So to me, that tells me that you let a man curtail what you were supposed to be doing for yourself. And to me, that lets it know that you were more than worried about Martell. Not only were you not fucking anybody else, but you also didn't even finish school because you let Martell get you all wrapped up and, in the rapture and all of that type of shit. Girl, I wonder what the dick like.
She thought she was securing a bag. She thought she was securing a bag. And
baby
let's
bag.
be real.
A baby bag.
Get
Yes,
degrees.
Right, a baby bag. That's it.
A baby
Huntsville bag. C's get degrees, so that probably got you through your 5 years of college. She said it was 5, but it ain't gonna get you through nursing school. So regardless of Martell, you wasn't gonna finish.
You're not that. I'm sorry. I hate that. Y'all, I don't like calling other women stupid, but I swear for God,
No,
I have
she's
never
stupid.
in my life seen somebody just be so. And even when she was asking her friend, there was one point on the live where she asked her friend about a comment that was like, well, of course they'll talk about the cheating because it's a part of their story. And she was like, what does that mean? What does that
I don't get it.
What
Do you understand? Like,
because she's stupid.
how you didn't get that?
But it's like, I think we've given her a chance to show us different because people make mistakes. But it's like every time she opens her mouth, it gets worse. Like it's never a thing to where it gets better. And it's like, okay, we trying to listen. I felt like TASHA would give us a part that we would like, and you made it worse and worse and worse and worse. I was like, you don't want people to like you. You don't want to succeed in life because you keep making yourself a victim of your own circumstance. You could have been left him alone and let him cheat whoever else. You stayed in it. So we don't like you because you have made yourself not likable. We tried to listen and you keep being dumb.
Girl, when she said that the story didn't go down that way, when she said that, when Mel found out, and she was like, it did not happen that way. That's another false narrative. I was like, all right, girl, tell us something now. Tell us something we didn't know. And then she said, I did not say put Martell on the fucking phone. I just said put Martell on the phone.
Him on the phone.
I thought she was going to really give us tea. I really thought she was going to give us a narrative for the show. She never did. I'm like, girl, you whack as hell. Your standards for yourself is low to the ground, down to hell, and it's embarrassing. And all of this is such a weird flex because she really is considering herself cream of the crop. And I'm like, what crop?
The crop in the dust.
I think Martell did move her to Huntsville. I absolutely think that she was in Ohio, and after she graduated or whatever, he moved her, and that's why she kept saying he was taking good care of me. That means that he put her up in a place, he got her a car, probably hooked her up with, a job down to somewhere, because I think at one point they was trying to make it seem like she was a waitress somewhere where they all used to frequent. So I feel like he was fucking her before then, and he got her a job wherever that was at when she moved down there to Huntsville. Thank you, Shine Good, for the super chat. Airhead and Martell both admire Mel, and because of that, they resent her. So they troll her due to Airhead will never be a male, and Martell will never be man enough for the relationship. Child, and It's really sad because I feel like this could have been an opportunity for her to learn from her mistakes and probably gain something from it. Because if she was a little bit more likable, I think people would have been forgiving, because people love to forgive a man for cheating and, you know, the bitch he cheated with. You know, they love to forgive y'all for these things, especially if the main woman is somebody that they can find issue with. And they've been trying to find issue with Mel since she came on the show. But I would just like to say, what narrative was she talking about? Because I feel like the only thing they said about you was that you were cheating with Martell, and then eventually you got pregnant by Martell, and you called Mel and told her, you know, to put her man on the phone, and you was, you know, calling, looking for him, blowing his phone up, and you said you called more than once. Stop lying. So I was trying to understand, what narrative was she talking about? Because that's all that was said about her.
She's just using words that she heard other people say, but she don't really know what they mean, like likeness and narrative.
Nigga said, I learned all he has to do is show up at her door and say he want to talk while on his knees for her to give in to giving him the Gluck Gluck 3000. Child, listen, when she said that, you know, he comes to my door and he just like, I just want to talk. You don't even have to let me in. I'm like, girl, this nigga must have really been good, y'all. This nigga must have really had that big meat. He must have been slanging that big meat, something
I
dangerous.
don't even think he did, because she's simple. She's a simple bird. I don't think he had to have anything.
Really?
I
Oh,
don't think
Mel
he
did
has
say she wasn't
anything.
always, she was like, I wasn't always that, you know, in that department. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't always that happy in that department. She did throw that out there before. But old girl was just acting like that nigga wanted her because she was smart. And I was like, girl, he did not want you because you were smart. He wanted you because you had a big old mouth. Anyway, does anybody have anything else to add? Because if that's it, girl, that's the end of the show. I did not even mean to hold y'all for that long, but I am so happy that y'all came through tonight. Okay, we had about 1,600 people in the room, damn near the whole time, girl. We appreciate y'all for that. Follow us all on social media. Follow our Instagram, OohLadiesFirstPanel. Email us at the OohLadiesFirstPanel if you got tea or if you have a letter that you would like for us to read on the show. Make sure y'all hit us up because we do that too. And follow us all on social media at Bondy Blue, at Jami ThatsMe, at Jaylee's Corner, and at Necey Dixon. We are all the same shit on Instagram and Twitter. Okay. And yeah, we love you guys so much. We appreciate y'all for coming through, showing love in the chat. And y'all have y'all a good night. All right.
See
All
y'all
right.
next week.
Happy New Year, everybody.